This is the weirdest blind date scene I've ever seen. Even though it's their first time meeting, the girl already knows my habits like the back of her hand, and even actively launches a fierce offensive against me, whether it's proactively holding hands while crossing the street, or while watching a movie, actively feeding me intimately. Something's off about this female netizen of mine. 9 out of 10 or even 9.5 out of 10, weird? My name is Qing Guangling. Right now it's 2 p.m. The meetup with that netizen was scheduled for 3 p.m. There's still plenty of time, even though meeting online friends offline seems kind of sketchy. Since we've already made plans, waiting there ahead of time is better than arriving right on the dot. Still, why am I feeling so nervous? It's not like it's my first time meeting an online friend. Even though we've only known each other for half a month, we've already reached the stage of meeting offline. You could say we really hit it off. But in real life, what kind of person is he really? The one who initiated the chat was the other person. The one who suggested meeting was also the other person. I gotta mentally prepare myself for a total catfish situation. Or maybe it's some kind of honey trap scam. Thinking up to here, I shook my head and thought, whatever. No expectations, no disappointment. Just gotta keep a normal mindset. Looking at the chat messages on my phone. After sending what I'm wearing today, I decided to head to a milk tea shop and sit for a bit, since we didn't agree on a specific spot, and my outfit is way too basic. We can just make a call later. Just as my thoughts reached this point, a clear, gentle, and soft-sounding voice suddenly came through. Hi, Suzuki-sensei. Is that you? I turned my head to look. A girl with her hair tied up in a long style was standing there gracefully. Beige casual shoes, matched with a pink long dress, pure yet slightly playful. Her appearance made me blank out for a second. Are you Mitu Daigui? Yeah, want to shake hands? No need to be so formal about it. Just keep it natural. This is our very first time meeting, and you already want me to hold your arm? I never would have guessed. Looking so honest and innocent, you're actually this kind of guy. There's no helping you. Wait, I didn't mean it like that. You got me all wrong. I was just teasing you. Let's go then. Check out the neighborhood. Looking at that slender back, I suddenly remembered during our chats before, he seemed to mention studying in Luocheng and graduating soon. No wonder the meetup is here. By the way, my name is Qin Guanglin, and you? My name is Hifang. Nice to meet you. Qin Guanglin. Nice to meet you too. I stared blankly at Hifang for a second. This situation is a bit different from what I imagined. It seems to be going extremely smoothly. Noticing my gaze, Hifang flashed a bright smile. Thanks for accepting my invite. I'll treat you to milk tea, though I don't know what there is to thank me for. There's no need to stand on ceremony for such a small thing. Sure, next time it's my treat. Except the milk tea shop is in the opposite direction. 2.5 minutes later, the two of them walked together into a milk tea shop named Kingju Time. Just like the ancients next door who want to give birth to 5 kids, 1 kumquat lemon, less ice, less sugar, and a pot. What do you want? A glass of carrot juice? After ordering and grabbing the receipt, the two found a window seat and sat down. Hainpaw took out her phone to check her reflection and fixed her hair. I raised my head and stealthily glanced at the other person. Even though we chat online so well, although we chatted really well online, most of the time he's the one who starts the conversation. Now that we're actually meeting up, I have zero idea what to say. I'm totally out of practice for this. It's gonna get awkward. What do I do? What do I do? As a grown man, being this passive is a bad look, right? If I knew I should have checked Little Red Book beforehand and studied the basic playbook for netizen blind date chats. Should I just fake a bathroom break and speedrun some tips? If I knew I should have checked Little Red Book beforehand and studied the basic playbook for netizen blind date chats. Should I just fake a bathroom break and speedrun some tips? Meanwhile, Hifang across from me has a faint look, her arms crossed on the table, not saying a word, just staring at me the whole time. Why do you keep staring at me? Reading your physiognomy. You know how to do that. Hearing that, I instantly perked up. Only then did I carefully look at her face. Though she's no super mega beauty. She's pretty and clean cut. Huh? Didn't you sleep well last night? Seeming to recall some bad memories, Hifang dropped her expression and asked. Right then, I heard a voice call out from the counter. Your orders are ready. I stood up and said, I'll go grab them. Walking to the bar to pick up our drinks, I didn't even need to turn around to feel that intense gaze right on my back. Am I really that handsome? I don't think so, but whatever. No classes today. I'm in the literature department. Graduation is coming up, so not many classes left. Mostly just working on my thesis now. What about you already working? Let me guess. Do you do creative work? Pretty much mostly providing art drafts for some clients. Take jobs when they come. Chill when there aren't any. Sort of a freelance worker. Right now, I can only silently pray in my heart. Even though my job is super unstable and doesn't look like a proper 9 to 5, I still hope she doesn't look down on me. Hifang let out a chuckle. Feels just like a blind date. Whatever you say it is, I said you looked super serious. If you didn't keep staring at me the whole time, I probably wouldn't be this serious. Let's see. I picked up the carrot juice and took a huge gulp, trying to relax myself a bit. Then how do my facial reading results look? He Fang smiled brightly. On her pure yet playful face, a gentle look appeared once more, mixed with a hint of unexplainable nostalgia. After a long while, she slowly spoke. Great. Super perfect. Half a month later, I was sketching away at my drawing. Bored as usual. Over this recent period, He Fang and I had kept up a frequency of meeting once a week. Just like when we first met online, hanging out in real life lost all that initial awkwardness and tension. That girl gives me a really magical feeling, hard to put into words. Beneath the surface of a lively girl lies a gentle and intellectual vibe, which makes me feel super comfortable. Ding dong, my phone resting on the artboard chimed. I picked it up and took a glance. It was a message from Mitu Daigui. Busy, want to catch a movie together. I walked over to the window and started replying, sure. How does 4 p.m. sound? Let's meet at West District Square. Sounds good. West District Square is closer to Hefang's school, and it's convenient to walk her back after the movie. At this moment, a ray of sunlight passed through the window and shone directly onto the drawing board. On the board was a lovely girl, standing amidst a field of flowers, bending over to do some embroidery, one hand slightly tucking a lock of hair behind her ear. I gave a slight smile, put away the canvas, and walked out of the room, ready to wash the paint off myself. Done drawing, hurry up and pack up. We're heading out in a bit. I heard West District's Old Street got some new merchandise in. Accompany me to go check if we can score any good finds. You heard that from Aunt Wang, didn't you? I'm busy, have him go with you. What could you possibly be busy with? Make your Aunt Wang come with me. He always snatches up all the good loot. Aren't you just sitting around doing nothing? Go out and get some fresh air. Cooped up at home all day, you'll drive yourself crazy. I've got plans with a friend. I said that and closed the door right after. Even if I'm free, I'm not going. I have zero interest in that junk. Browsing the flea market every time is pure torture. If my dear old mom heard this second half, she'd probably pick up that legendary sword she brought back and smack me with it. Time quickly moved to 3:47 p.m. Hevang sent a message saying she was almost here. Seeing that, I also curiously asked, have you figured out what movie to watch? He quickly replied. Time quickly moved to 3:47 p.m. Hefang sent a message saying she was almost here. Seeing that, I also curiously asked, have you figured out what movie to watch? He quickly replied, Terminator Genesis, wanna watch it. I heard the 3D effects are pretty good. You like the Terminator series too? I thought girls would all want to watch something light and funny. Seeing Hefang's reply, I was a bit surprised. This Terminator franchise is one where I've watched every single installment. I was originally planning to watch some light-hearted comedy with Hefang and come back to watch this sci-fi flick by myself another day. After all, when the previous movies came out, inside the theater, you'd only see an all-male crowd, feeling puzzled inside. I scrolled through my chat history with Hefang. Before I knew it, we had already chatted this much. So what kind of relationship do I currently have with Hefang anyway? Are we friends besties? Lost in thought? A girl in the distance caught my eye. Every time I see Hefang, I somehow get this illusion that this girl likes me. She looks around from side to side, as if searching for something. Then she spots me. Her eyes widen slightly. And then that pale, clean face slowly blooms like a flower, revealing a smile straight from the bottom of her heart. So clean, so pure. I don't know if her smile is naturally like that, or if it's because she saw me. What is this? I promised to give it to you. A drawing I made for you. Unlike what I had imagined, I thought this girl would show her joy openly. Instead, her smile just got a bit sweeter. Thank you. Too close, way too close. Let's go watch the movie, not right now. I need to take this back to the dorm first. It's way too inconvenient to carry around while watching a movie. I can hold it for you first. With people coming and going everywhere, what if someone bumps into it and ruins it? I sighed, and had no choice but to accompany her toward Luocheng University. Luckily, her school was only a dozen minutes walk away, just past one intersection. We should still have time to catch the movie. Soon we stopped at a traffic light. Looking at her back and the empty street ahead, with such a short distance and not a single car in sight, she was still, as always, super strictly following traffic rules. This is a really great trait, but this trait comes bundled with a flaw that isn't really a flaw. The moment the green light turns on, I take a step forward, and she subconsciously grabs my sleeve, then looks left and right again to make sure there are no cars. I've wondered if maybe in the past, she witnessed some horrific car accident, which is why she's so scared. As for why I'm not wearing short sleeves in such hot weather, of course it's because I wanted to see when there are no sleeves to grab. What will she grab instead? Will she kick me? Thinking up to here, I glanced at Hefang's cheek and found that she was foolishly staring right at me. I noticed he was staring blankly at me. What are you thinking about? No, nothing at all. Oh, really? Xuanji suddenly slid down his right hand, holding my sleeve, and straight up gripped my left hand instead. Soft and a little cool. My heart suddenly skipped a beat, and then I stealthily caught my breath. I'm in my 20s already. Just holding hands a little bit. What's there to be nervous about? Still holding hands like this definitely crosses into more than friends territory, right? Or does it not? It definitely crosses the line, right? A female netizen I'm meeting for the very first time proactively takes my hand to cross the street. I'm blushing, stealthily catching my breath. I'm in my 20s already. Just holding hands a little bit. What's there to be nervous about, though? Holding hands like this crosses the line of friendship, right? Doesn't it? It definitely does, right? Hufang, acting like she found something super fun, smiled somewhat mischievously. After finishing crossing the intersection, she naturally let go of my hand. Are you hungry? Yeah, it's about time to eat. What do you want to eat? I quietly rubbed my hand against my pants. My palms were sweating all over. Such a loser. Then I'll recommend a place. Follow me. Manhwa took the lead at the front, guiding Qingguangling through a series of turns, and finally ducking into a family-style restaurant. Hidden in a corner of the square, this little eatery tucked away in the corner. Wasn't eye-catching at all. Never expected you to bring me here. I looked around left and right. Back when I was still in college, I used to come here to eat with friends all the time. Great taste and huge portions. Even after graduating 2 years ago, I'd still occasionally drop by here for a meal. This place mostly runs on business from regulars. And I guess I count as a regular too. Ain't this little Chinde? Haven't seen you around in ages. What are you having today? Uncle Xiao, let's grab a seat first and check the menu. Bringing your girlfriend to eat, come on. A friend is a friend. I'll leave the tea right here. Pour it yourselves if you want some, alright? You go ahead and get busy, uncle. Yifang picked up the menu and ordered everything in no time. I finished ordering mine. Take a look and see what else you want to add. Then she picked up the kettle to rinse off both of our tableware. I picked up the menu and took a glance. A braised tilapia, a stir-fried shredded carrot, a smashed cucumber salad. These were the exact dishes I'd order every single time I came here. No way do both of our tastes match this much. Thinking of this, I stood up. Uncle Xiao, same old dishes as usual. You got it. Let me pick out a nice plump one for you. I sat back down in my chair and sized up the girl in front of me. For some reason, I always felt an inexplicable sense of peace deep down. Hifang put on a light smile and finished cleaning the tableware. Then pushed it over and said, "Thanks for the drawing you gave me. Didn't you already thank me just now?" I already said it's no big deal. Sorry to keep you waiting, fish is here. Girl, the rice is over there, help yourself. Or you can have this kid scoop some for you. Uncle Xiao gave me a look, and I instantly caught his drift. I'll go get the rice. You just sit right here. Then sorry to trouble you. Hifang didn't seem to be on any diet either. After devouring a full bowl of rice, she even had me scoop half another bowl for her. For some reason, watching her eat always reminded me of the heroine from that manga I read recently. Should we order some soup? No need, tea is fine. Hifang finished eating and put down her bowl. Then she picked up a piece of tilapia, carefully picked out the bones, and put it in my bowl. This fish is good. Eat more too. I was totally mind-blended. Is this even allowed? We've barely had a few blind dates, and my female netizen is actually picking out fish bones for me voluntarily. At this moment, staring at the fish meat right in front of me, looking at the fish in front of me, my brain is running at warp speed. Is this actually allowed? Right, that's just thanks for the drawing. So that's how it is. No need to be so polite. Not knowing how to handle this, I could only desperately chow down on the fish and pick out the bones. Soon it was time to check out. This is on me. Hifang pulled out her phone and turned to call Uncle Xiao to pay. Nope. Uncle Xiao isn't gonna take your money. Let me get it instead, haha. Total is 88, let's call it 80. Then I'll buy the movie tickets later. Over on the antique street on the other side, Chin's mom is holding a tiny snuff bottle in her hand and walking happily through the square with Aunt Wang, getting ready to march back in triumph. Let me borrow it to play with for 2 days, will you? Aunt Wang is empty-handed, looking resentfully at the snuff bottle in Chin's mom's hand. No way, this little gadget is probably from the late Ming or early Qing dynasty. Got to study it carefully when we get back. Look at how stingy you are. Ugh. Last time I borrowed that cigarette holder from you, weren't you acting super stingy too? This is called hey, look over there. Aunt Wang interrupted her words and pointed toward the crowd ahead. Isn't that your boy? Right over there. It really is him. Let's go over and have him look at this treasure of mine. Wait, who's that girl with him? Hey, Guanglin, nice to... Hey, why are you suddenly doing that? You don't even want this treasure of yours anymore. Shh, let's stealthily follow them and see what they're up to. On the other side, Fang and I arrived at the movie theater in the West District. Seeing the girl standing by the ticket kiosk, I quickly walked over to the little popcorn counter. 2 medium ones, oh, no one large bucket. Figuring we definitely need to buy drinks later. Buying 2 separate portions of popcorn would be way too clumsy to carry. So 2.5 minutes later, Fang, who had already bought the tickets, walked over. Seeing me holding a massive bucket of popcorn, she frowned and looked slightly upset. Didn't you say I was treating to the movie? We clearly agreed on that. Didn't you already buy the tickets? You want cola or orange juice later? I want milk tea. The movie starts in 20 minutes. I'll go to the shop across the street to grab some milk tea. I bought yours too while I was at it. You just sit here and wait for me. I nodded. Watching her jogging away into the distance, I suddenly remembered I forgot to tell her I wanted carrot juice. Outside the movie theater, Chin's mom and Aunt Wang sneakily prepared to leave, only to see that girl walking out. The two of them exchanged a glance. What's going on? How come that girl is walking out alone? Where's that boy? No idea. Could this girl know us? No way. She probably thinks we're some weird Chaoyang neighborhood aunties. When we get back, you need to properly lecture your boy. He's sitting inside, making a young girl come out to buy milk tea. That is so ungentlemanly. Still, I never would have expected. Your boy would secretly take a girl out to the movies. Pigs are finally learning how to fly. Wonder when my boy will learn how to woo a girl. This girl gives off a really great vibe. Your boy is blessed. Don't flatter yourself to death. Though, do you really not know that girl just now? Nope, don't know her. This kid is hiding things and acting all secretive. I bet you if I ask him tonight when he gets back, he's definitely going to deny it. Oh, young people these days all value privacy. Don't go prying blindly either. Let them develop things at their own pace. Anyway, sooner or later she'll have to pass your test. True. What to do, what to do. My female netizen's first time taking me to the movies, and she proactively used her mouth to catch the popcorn I fed her, even intentionally licking my finger. Just a moment ago, while I was holding a promotional pamphlet reading it for half a day, I was holding a promotional brochure and looking at it for quite a while, thinking that there are quite a few good movies out lately. If there are no other activities next week, asking her out to see another movie would be nice. Suddenly, I felt a coolness on my cheek. Turning my head, I saw Fang bending over. Standing behind me, who knows when, your carrot juice. I took it and said thank you. Right then, a fire alarm suddenly blared in the theater. Dear valued customers, due to special circumstances, Screen 3 requires temporary maintenance. Please head to the counter promptly to exchange your sessions or get a refund. We deeply apologize for any inconvenience this may cause. Thank your understanding. Screen 3, I glanced over at Fang. Fang pulled the movie ticket out of her pocket and gently furrowed her brows. We're for Screen 3? What a coincidence. I let out a sigh, then quickly got up and led Fang toward the counter. There are quite a few people who bought tickets for this session. Many still haven't processed what's happening. Let's hurry and go change our tickets. Hello, ticket change for Terminator in Screen 3. When is the next showing? So sorry. There are currently only 2 3D screens, and the other screen is already fully booked for the day. After the ticket clerk checked the system, just like the 2 of them previously, we're truly sorry. Why don't you take a look at other movies? Since the milk tea and popcorn had already been bought, getting a refund was completely out of the question. How about we watch this one? I pointed at a poster next to the counter. Goodbye, Mr. Loser. I just saw it has pretty high ratings. It's a light and comedic type. Fang hesitated for a moment. Alright, let's just watch this one then. Choosing 2 seats in the middle towards the back, the 2 of them carried their milk tea and popcorn, and soon waited for the show to start. In the past, I'd always watch Hollywood blockbusters with my bros. This is still my very first time watching a movie with a girl. It feels so surreal. Fang also turned her head sideways. What are you thinking about? I'm thinking, if it weren't for those 2 guys fighting in Screen 3 and breaking the equipment, we'd probably be watching a Hollywood blockbuster right now. Yeah, it was originally meant for you. What did you say? I said, let's enjoy the movie. Alright, the promotional clips before the movie ended, and the film officially began. Fang looked straight ahead and stopped talking. To my slight surprise, I found this movie exceptionally entertaining. Or maybe it was because of the person sitting next to me. I couldn't help stealing side glances at Fang's profile. She was leaning back in her seat, completely relaxed, her whole body sinking into the chair. Unlike the people nearby laughing back and forth and howling with laughter, she just sat there quietly watching. In the dim light, her expression was hard to read, as if she had something on her mind. Want some of this? Fang paused for a split second, the corners of her lips turning upward unconsciously. I touched it. The female netizen on her first movie date actually licked my finger. I At this moment, feeling the slight tingle on my fingertip, my brain sort of blue screened. You're blushing. Ah, wait, did I just get teased? I actually just got teased. What happened to just being friends? How can you do this? No matter what, I'm also a guy who's dated in college, even if it stops strictly at holding hands. But right now, being teased by a little girl, 2 whole years younger than me, is just way too humiliating. Having gone through complicated emotional experiences, I refuse to be this cowardly. As a man, I gotta have some masculine dignity. Gotta eat some popcorn to calm down. Just a coincidence, a total coincidence. Have some too. The more I care about her, the more outrageous she gets. She's totally doing it on purpose. Hold it together, I can win this. It's just some teasing, right? You give one, I take one back, what's wrong with that? You have some too. Thanks. So honest, the teasing ended right in the middle. I had already figured out how to respond. Yet the other person suddenly retreated. This feeling is like getting chewed out by someone without getting a chance to talk back. And by the time you've organized your words, they've already run off. How can this be so annoying? If I had just grabbed her hand directly earlier, I could have made her taste what it's like to lose the bait and the chicken. Who knows what I even watched during the second half of the movie? By the time I came to my senses, the show was over and it was nearly 9 p.m. I'll walk you back. Sure. Hifang looked at me and smiled again, then acting like nothing had happened at all. She walked ahead. This movie was alright, huh? Yeah, not bad. I secretly glanced at Hifang's profile and couldn't help inwardly roasting. You literally didn't even watch most of it. Looks like she really didn't like this movie. I'll have to take her to a good movie next time. Consider it compensation. Let's find a topic to chat about first. Thinking of the main theme of the movie just now, I asked if you could go back to the past like in the movie, what would you want to do? How could something like that possibly happen? So it's just a what if. What about you? What would you want to do? If I could go back to the past, I would grab his hand the exact moment he tried to tease me and exact some ruthless payback. The light is green, let's go. After crossing the crosswalk, Kanfan naturally let go of my hand as usual. Now's my chance. I suddenly reached out and grabbed that little hand. Hifang turned her head and froze, clearly caught completely off guard. Feels good, both physically and psychologically. This right here is called payback. A guy with a complicated romantic history delivering delayed revenge. Hefang smiled too, as if she knew what I was thinking. Then I felt my palm, gently scratched by a fingernail. Just that light little scratch. Felt like it hit the tip of my heart, giving off an itchy, tingling sensation. My whole body stiffened, and my heartbeat sped up once again uselessly. What is this? The one who failed the scheme and lost everything was actually me. I just got confessed to, and the person is the female netizen I went on my first movie date with. Just a moment ago, Hifang had been holding my hand all the way to the dorm building. Me, looking at my palm that was already soaked in sweat, wanting to let go yet feeling too reluctant, handing over this hard-earned victory of mine, just like that to someone else. I really lost completely shamelessly. Who knows how much time passed? Hifang suddenly stopped in her tracks, turned her head and said, "I'm at my dorm building." Sensing that I had no intention of letting go of her hand, the corners of her lips curled up gently. Can't bear to let me go. Recovering my senses, I froze. The next second, I felt my palm get scratched by someone again. A tingling itch rippled from my palm straight to my arm, and then transmitted right to my chest. I like you. Qing Guanglin, let's date, bye-bye. How am I supposed to react right now? What am I supposed to say? Absolute checkmate. I completely got dead zoned. After returning home, Qin's mom, who was still fiddling with her snuff bottle, saw her son walk through the front door and subconsciously asked, "You're back? Today you went to wait? What's wrong with you?" I was still holding my shoe completely out of it. My head was entirely filled with Hifang's gradually magnifying face. And that crisp striking confession, "I like you," along with that crisp ear-pleasing, "I like you." I licked my lips and prepared to speak, when I suddenly felt a hint of sweetness. Seems like orange-flavored lip balm. Never mind. I'm going to bed. After saying that, without waiting for my mom to react, I bolted straight for my room. Throwing my slippers on the floor, I flopped face down on the bed, recalling all of today's events. I can safely, surely, and positively say, this doesn't feel like just mere teasing anymore. Time slowly crept to the next morning. Suffering from insomnia, I lay in bed with heavy dark circles under my eyes. I clicked on Hifang's profile picture and closed it again. Opened her personal info and closed it again. Typed out a paragraph several times only to delete it all. So what on earth is the current situation? Have her and I actually started dating, or does it not count since I didn't reply yesterday? I can guarantee you, last night wasn't some momentary heat of the moment, or just because the atmosphere was right. She's not like that and neither am I. No matter what Hefang's reason was, my heart is genuinely pounding. Falling for someone in just 2 months is honestly a bit unbelievable. Yet, if it's not liking someone who has the time to chat 800 messages a day with you, who stays up late in the middle of the night just to talk, who is that free to constantly accompany someone everywhere? But what should I do next? Just as my thoughts reached this point, suddenly a notification chime rang out. I bolted upright in a flash, nervously yet expectantly opening my phone. Good morning. Looking at the message sent by Mitu Daigoi, I felt a bit lost. This attitude is completely identical to before, as if nothing had happened at all. What is going on? Do you have work today? No. Then do you have classes? No classes either. Want to go hang out somewhere later? My spirits instantly lifted. Thinking to myself, looks like there's a chance. Usually there'd be a few days gap between our meetups. This time it's 2 days in a row. So I replied, sure. Where to West District? That works. Though I need to run an errand on Nanfei Road first. After wrapping up the chat, I leaped out of bed with a burst of energy. After telling my dear old mom not to save lunch for me, I dove straight into the bathroom to wash up. 2.5 minutes later, I stared at the Nanfei Road sign, feeling a bit conflicted. This street is pretty huge. Trying to run into someone here is genuinely difficult. Should I hang out at this intersection for a bit and see if I can bump into her? Then fake a surprised what a coincidence, or walk around and search for her. Or maybe I should just ask her where she is right now. So I took out my phone and typed into the chat window, "What kind of errand are you running?" Ding dong, a notification sound drilled into my ears, accompanied right after by a familiar voice. "What are you looking around so sneakily for?" I originally wanted to fake a surprise accidental encounter with the girl I like. But who would have expected? The next second, the girl would appear right behind me. Even though Hifang tried her best to put on a curious expression, I still caught sight of her, barely suppressed smile on her face. I was just, "Didn't you say you had some errands to run?" "I just came to see if I could help out." There's no way to fake an accidental encounter anymore. I had no choice but to honestly admit that I came here on purpose. "Really? Then you sure got here fast. Looks like you live pretty nearby, huh?" Hefang asked casually and started walking forward. I nodded and stepped forward to follow. "Yeah, where are you heading?" Hefang patted the small backpack on her shoulder. "To mail an art draft, traveling this far just to mail something." I found it a bit strange. "Can't you mail it over in the West District?" "Why not?" Hefang turned her head and glanced back. "Though your dark circles are intense, didn't sleep well last night. Recalling the agony of counting sheep last night?" I waved my hand dismissively. Just that there were too many mosquitoes, couldn't sleep well. Ha ha, yeah, that really makes it hard to sleep. At this moment, I carefully looked at Hefang and found that her complexion was great, full of energy and vitality. "Looks like you slept pretty well yesterday." "Slept straight through until dawn. Super comfortable." 2.5 minutes later, the two of them walked together into a Kanyao post station. Hefang pulled a stack of thick draft paper out of her backpack. "What kind of manuscripts are these?" I asked with a bit of curiosity. "A novel," Hefang said while filling out the shipping info. "Wrote it when I had nothing to do. Planning to submit it to a publishing house to see how it goes." Watching her serious-looking expression as she checked everything over, I blanked out for a second. She seemed to have mentioned majoring in literature, right? Are students these days this overpowered, writing a novel this thick before even graduating as a senior? After confirming the information was correct, Hefang pasted the courier label on and turned her head to glance back. Seeing my dazed expression, she waved her hand. "What are you daydreaming about?" "Let's go." I instantly snapped back to reality and followed her out of the express station. "Were you just staring at me in a daze?" "No, I wasn't. I was thinking about something on my mind." "My errand is done? Where should we go look around next? Do you have any places you want to go? I want to see the place where you draw. Can you take me there?" "Ugh, my mom is still at home." Bringing a girl back home feels kind of awkward. Is it inconvenient? "It's just a workspace, alright?" Or is it not alright? So 2.5 minutes later, Chin's mom opened the door with a proper expression, because right at this moment, a smiling girl was standing right at the doorway. It was none other than Hefang, whom she saw yesterday. Greeting her very politely, "Hello, auntie, my name is Hefang. I'm Qin Guanglin's friend. She's my friend." "Oh, so you're little Lindsay's friend. Come on in, come on in. This kid rarely brings friends over to the house. The girl is actually a first..." "Sorry to disturb you, auntie. Have a seat, have a seat." Looking at the two of them exchanging polite pleasantries on the side, I quickly reached out and pointed. "My studio is this way." Hefang had already obediently sat down on the sofa, with zero intention of heading to the studio, even flashing a humanly harmless smile right at me. What kind of host lets a guest come in without even offering a glass of water? "Go pour some water already. No need, auntie. I'm not thirsty. Don't be so polite. Don't be so polite." You're a guest. It's only right. Actually, a long time ago. He said he wanted to bring me over to see his studio. Just never had the time, and it dragged on until now. When did I ever say that? Wasn't it you who wanted to come over? Well, it looks like you two have known each other for a long time. Yeah, you're my senior. Hearing that, I almost dropped my cup. If we were both seniors from Luocheng University, I'd accept it. But we've only known each other for a little over 2 months tops. What kind of ghost is this? And what's with Guangling? Mom, don't get the wrong idea. Just how open can online dating meetups be nowadays? Mere half a month after meeting offline, the girl not only came home with the boy, she even ended up lying in the same bed. Just a moment ago, upon hearing that I was Hefang's senior, Chin's mom's smile grew even warmer. Oh, you're from Luocheng University too, young lady. Yes, graduating this year. Auntie, you can just call me Hefang. Have some water. What's with that attitude of yours? All right. Ignore him, hurry up and have a sip of water. Thank you, Auntie. You should be thanking me, instead I poured. I'm the one who poured the bowl of water, watching my dear old Mom and Hefang getting along so harmoniously. I always felt something wasn't quite right. It didn't look like a normal guest visit at all. Watching Hefang with her hands resting on her lap, looking like a quiet, well-behaved lady. Qin's mom was in a fantastic mood. Well, you young folks chat amongst yourselves first. I need to go buy groceries. Hefang, stay for lunch. No need to trouble you, Auntie. I'll sit for a bit longer and then head back. You guys still have plans later? Not really. Seeing that Chin's mom pulled a flash step, grabbed her vegetable basket and walked to the doorway. Then stay for lunch. It's settled. Before either of them could react, she slammed the door shut with a bang. Hefang put down her water cup and stood up with a beaming smile. Let's go. Let's go take a look at your art studio. I stood up and glanced at my watch along the way, thinking to myself, it's not even 11 yet. I usually paint right here. You've got that true artist aura. I scratched the back of my head, feeling a bit embarrassed. The next second I saw her bend over and start tidying up the discarded drafts on the floor. I can just clean these up myself whenever I have time. Yet Hefang didn't stop her movements, and even moved with a sort of practiced familiarity. Don't just stand there idling. Go change the trash bag. Alright, 20 minutes later, Hefang let out a breath and looked around the room. Feels way more comfortable now. I looked at her with a slightly bewildered expression. Scrap papers, rejected drafts, and even paints and brushes were all neatly sorted and stacked. Does she paint too? I gotta admit, she's definitely better at organizing than I am. Thanks for helping me clean up. Consider it my thanks for the lunch. Wanna let me guess which room is yours? Is she seriously gonna help me clean my bedroom too? It's this room, right? Yeah, I blanked out for a second, feeling a bit curious about how she guessed it right on the first try. Luckily, after entering the room, Hefang didn't start cleaning up like I had imagined. She just stood there, glancing around at the room's setup. Then she took a deep breath, her eyes unable to hide a look of deep nostalgia. Could my room have some weird smell or something? My heart tightened and I secretly took a deep sniff. There's no smell at all. I opened the windows to ventilate every single day. Hefang walked over to the bed and gently sat down. Suddenly tilting her head, she bit her lower lip. I'm tired. Then you should get some rest. Then you come over too? What are you trying to do? Look at that look in your eyes. I'm not gonna eat you. Look at those dark circles of yours. Go lie down for a bit. It's my room and my bed. What are you scared of? We've slept in the same bed before anyway. We've slept in the same bed before. Don't talk nonsense, and isn't it just resting for a bit? What are you panicking for? This is your house and your room. I'm just teasing you. Hurry up and rest. Wait, that thing from last night. Last night you confessed to me and I haven't agreed yet. Right about that thing. No way, when did I confess to you? You confessed to me right downstairs at my dorm building. And after you finished, you even kissed me. Wait, did I actually confess? Did I remember it wrong last night? No, how could I possibly remember something like that wrong? I didn't. Then did you agree to my confession? You already kissed me and everything. Then, are we officially dating now? Nope, doesn't count. You gotta confess properly one more time. Fine. Hefang, I like you. Let's date. Oh, whoops. People get old, and not only is my hearing bad, I can't hear a thing. My eyes are bad too, always bumping into things. Really didn't hear a single thing you kids carry on? Ha ha. I'm done for your mom, heard you confessing to me. If I don't agree now, I won't get to eat the lunch she cooks. You totally did that on purpose. No, I didn't even know Auntie was back. You are 100% doing this on purpose. I'm a totally normal guy. How do I always end up getting played around by her? What are you trying to do? I'm going outside. What did you think I was trying to do? I wouldn't go outside right now, even if you beat me to death. Then I'm going out. Auntie, let me help you. No need, no need. You and little Lindsay just wait and eat. It's fine, I cook at home all the time. Haha, she can cook at such a young age. What a good girl. Where are you from? Hecheng, it's not far from Locheng. Shouldn't dating be like this? Clearly, I'm a whole 2 years older than him. How come it feels like an older sister teasing her younger brother? Oh, so it's Hecheng. I figured. Girls from by the river are also clever and deft. Come on, let me take that. No, it's too dirty. It's fine, just wash it off. Damn it, I am not going out there. So humiliating. An hour later, dinner's ready. Come on out and eat. Chin's mom muttered to herself while placing the washed bowls and chopsticks onto the table. Dragging your feet? Can't even be enthusiastic about eating. A moment later, I finished washing my hands in the bathroom and came to the kitchen. I looked at mom, then looked at the kitchen, and inexplicably felt the scene was unusually harmonious. Why are you daydreaming? Chin's mom saw her son dawdling like that and got a bit ticked off. Since you're done washing your hands, hurry up and dish out the rice for the kitchen. Just as she turned her head, He Fong had already dished out 2 bowls of rice and brought them to the table. It's okay, auntie. I can do it myself. Kin's mom went, oh, my appetite is smaller. Before she finished speaking, she saw that the bowl of rice was only filled halfway and swallowed the second half of her sentence back down. Chin's mom looked at He Fang with a slightly bewildered expression. Clearly, it's her first time eating at her boyfriend's house. Yet the girl knows her future mother-in-law's appetite like the back of her hand. At this moment, Chin's mom looked at He Fang with a slightly bewildered expression. Her appetite is extremely stable. Every meal is basically this exact amount. At most, she takes a few extra bites of side dishes, but she never eats any extra rice at all. How did you know I only eat this much? He Fang paused for a second and quickly explained, my family members have small appetites, and I just accidentally got used to it. Go ahead and eat, auntie. If it's not enough, I'll dish out some more. No need, no need. This is just right. Is that so? Well, it looks like we're really meant to be. Having finished washing my hands sitting at the table, I felt a sense of unreality. In these short few hours, Hao Fong had already blended right in. She really isn't simple. Not only does she have a way of handling me, she's also pretty formidable against older women like my mom. This girl's cooking is amazing. Chin's mom took a bite of the dish He Fang had brought out last, her eyes lighting up. Did He Fang stir-fry this 3 vegetarian delights dish? Little Lindsay eat up more. I shoveled rice into my mouth and asked a couple of questions. A tiny thread of crisis quietly sprouting at the bottom of my heart. Does this woman have zero flaws? Having an overpowered girlfriend is a good thing for sure, but getting suppressed by her everywhere just won't do. I gotta figure out a way to turn the tables. He Fang looked at Qin Guangling with a beaming smile, holding her rice bowl as she ate, her gaze seemingly never leaving him. Qin's mom secretly peeked at them a few times from the side, then looked at her own son and fell into deep thought. This silly boy just keeps his head down shoveling rice. Just what part of him did such an outstanding girl fall for? Could this be what they call a fool getting blessed by fortune? This meal tasted insanely good. A huge heaping bowl of rice was wolfed down in no time. I swallowed the rice in my mouth, and just as I was about to get up to dish out more rice, a small hand reached over from the side. I gripped my rice bowl tightly and turned to look at He Fang. What is she trying to do? I'll help you, He Fang said with a smile, with a head full of question marks before I could even react. I suddenly felt a nudge on my foot, and then I loosened my tight grip on the rice bowl. He Fang smoothly took the bowl and stood up to dish out the rice. Chin's mom's lips twitched slightly. Dish it out yourself later. Don't let others help you. I wanted to dish it out myself though. Didn't it just get snatched away? Soon a bowl of rice with just the right perfect amount was placed right in front of me. I helplessly muttered, no need to thank me. He Fong sat back down in her seat, looking like she was in a fantastic mood. After lunch ended, I carried the empty bowls into the kitchen. Auntie let me clean up. Girl, you don't need to lift a finger. I'll do it, I'll do it. Chin's mom quickly took the bowls and chopsticks, her face beaming with smiles. Go wash your hands and chat more with little Lindsay. Unable to beat Chin's mom, He Fang had no choice but to leave the kitchen and walk straight out to the balcony. She casually picked up a watering can and started watering the green plants. Just as I wanted to step forward and help, Mom's voice suddenly drifted out from the kitchen. We're out of dish soap. Little Lindsay, go buy a bottle at Old Man Pan's place. I scratched the back of my head and said to He Fang, you heard it too. I'll be right back. He Fang didn't seem to mind the awkwardness of being home alone at all. It's fine, go ahead. Luckily, the convenience store wasn't very far. 2.5 minutes later, I arrived at the front desk holding the dish soap. Uncle Pan tallied up the bill. Uncle Pan, who had been reading the newspaper, turned his head, and upon seeing me, suddenly wore a deeply meaningful expression. Bringing your girlfriend home today, huh? I was a bit surprised. Who told you that? Hehe, everyone saw it? Old Pan let out 2 smug laughs. You bring a young girl home, and then your mom goes out and buys a whole bunch of groceries. Isn't that as plain as day? Uncle Pan, I suggest you change careers to become a detective. I pulled out my wallet, suddenly noticing the lollipops on the counter. So I grabbed a few and placed them next to the dish soap. How much is this in total, including these? Consider it 20 for you. Uncle Pan chuckled again upon seeing the lollipops. Why don't you grab a few more snacks? Young girls all love this kind of stuff. I felt a bit embarrassed. Then you pick some out and toss them in for me. However, when that girl was wandering around here the other day, I was even wondering who she was looking for. Uncle Pan said while grabbing snacks, never would I have guessed. She was actually looking for a kid like you? The other day, I froze for a second. You must have seen wrong. Today is the very first time I've brought her. You must have seen wrong. I'm only bringing her here for the first time today. After finishing the checkout, I said thanks and hurried back home first. Uncle Pan, feeling hungry, silently sat back down at the front desk and exhaled a puff of white smoke. Young kids these days, they all like to keep things under wraps when dating. 2.5 minutes later, hearing the door open, Chin's mom came out of the kitchen muttering to herself to welcome the dish soap. It took you so long just to buy dish soap. However, upon seeing the large bag of snacks I was carrying, she stopped her nagging. Oh, you actually got a clue this time, kid. The girl is in your room right now. I walked back to my room, pushed the door open, and saw Fang hugging a pillow and rolling around on the bed. The moment she heard the movement, she froze, looking just like a little fox caught sneaking food. I didn't know what you like to eat, so I just bought a little extra, the title and privileges of a girlfriend. Kick in this fast. I thought I'd have to slowly teach you though. Is she looking down on someone with my vast emotional experience? And what kind of title privileges does a boyfriend get? Manhwa tore open a bag of potato chips, picked up a piece and held it right up to my mouth. This. Letting you eat the very first piece is the privilege. I subconsciously swallowed my saliva, hesitated for 0.3 seconds, and then swallowed that potato chip right into my mouth. We're already boyfriend and girlfriend now, so this doesn't count as teasing. Is that really all there is? Then what else do you want? Fang tilted her head to look at me, and whether intentionally or unintentionally licked the corner of her lips. I noticed her movement and saw those pink tender lips. Suddenly remembering the orange-flavored lip balm. So you wanted this, huh? If you want it, come get it yourself. I'm a boyfriend now, after all. What is there to be afraid of? It's not like we didn't kiss yesterday. Do you guys want some watermelon? You kids carry on. At this moment, I only felt an unbreathable wave of awkwardness. It's fine, I'll just pay attention in my next life. A girlfriend, whose relationship I had confirmed less than a day ago, just told me she was pregnant. She grabbed my hand and placed it on her stomach. Completely serious. This is your baby, you know? Just a moment ago, as I was about to exercise my boyfriend privileges, I happened to be caught red-handed by mom. I flipped over and lay flat on the bed, feeling my heart pounding like crazy, thinking to myself, just getting close to her is already like this. This won't do. I've got to go ask someone for advice later and learn a thing or two. Are women all monsters like this? Fang at this moment stepped forward quietly with her feet, leaned right up against my ear, and whispered, actually, I'm pregnant. What? I widened my eyes, bolted straight up, and stared at Fang. Fang pulled my hand and placed it right on her belly. Looking utterly shy, I'm having a little baby. Stunned, I felt the warmth against my hand. Completely at a loss. Fang increased the pressure of her hand on mine, as if she really wanted me to experience it properly. This is your baby, you know. As soon as those words dropped, I felt my brain get hit by a direct shockwave. When I subconsciously tried to yank my hand back, I used way too much force and crashed straight onto the floor with a loud thud. What? Whose is it? Yours, of course. You kissed me last night. You get a baby just from kissing on the lips. Clearly, it was you who kissed me, so I should be the one having a baby. I was hopping mad. This woman was playing tricks on me again. Too vicious, you get a baby just from a kiss. Who's gonna believe that? Then the next moment, I felt a familiar sensation behind my back. A pair of small hands wrapped around from behind and circled my waist, naughtily poking and patting. I reached out and grabbed those misbehaving little hands. Stop moving around. Fine, I won't move then. You go to sleep already. Damn it. She's teasing me for fun again. I gently pinched the little hand in my embrace, feeling like it wasn't half bad. I planned to just close my eyes and rest like this, because I hadn't slept a wink all night. I had no idea when sleepiness finally crept up on me. By the time I opened my eyes, the room had already grown dim. I flipped over, and after regaining my wits, patted the space beside me. Empty. Where's Fang? Did she leave? I sat upright, and discovered a precious blanket draped over me. In my mind, Fang's figure inexplicably surfaced. I glanced at the time. It was already past 5 p.m. I sure slept deeply this time. I picked up my water cup and took a sip, suddenly tasting a hint of orange flavor. I looked at the cup, then licked my lips. She actually pulled a stunt like that while I was fast asleep. After processing all this, I walked out of the room, to confirm whether Hefang had actually gone back or not. Mom was sitting in the living room right then, fiddling with her antiques. Awake, come sit here. I sat on the sofa and asked, where is she? Just left a little while ago. You woke up too late, Mom said with a totally flat expression. Did you two make it official? You saw this room, didn't you? I didn't see her agree to it, though. You didn't even have a gift and you just confessed out of nowhere? She should have rejected you instead. She agreed. How did the two of you meet, huh? How did the two of you meet? She's my junior. I absolutely cannot let my mom know that she was the one who made the first move on me. She's still in school and you're already up to no good. She's about to graduate from college, alright? Don't make it sound like I went out and snagged a middle schooler, though when hanging out with her, it feels like I'm the younger one in age. You only confessed today. Yet I saw you two going to the movies together yesterday. We had mutual feelings for each other back then. Can't you go to the movies together without dating? That girl seems great to me. I seriously wonder how she ever fell for you. Doesn't make any sense. A full-grown man with all his arms and legs intact? How did you manage to get rejected by someone? Wait, no, how did you charm someone? Don't go bullying her for no reason. And call her over to play at the house often. It'd be a miracle if she doesn't bully me instead. I muttered inwardly, stood up, and walked back into my room. There's no talking to this woman. Either the conversation dies or I die. Though after closing the door and thinking it over carefully, there really does seem to be a question here. How on earth did she ever fall for me? It doesn't make sense. So I picked up my phone and sent a message to my best friend. How do you tease a woman? This best friend of mine has had 2 romantic relationships, giving him double the experience I have. Hey babe, give your big bro a smile. The best friend saved under the name Xiao Yu instantly replied, that's not how you do it. I rephrased the question. How do you flirt with a girl you like? The best friend still replied instantly. Are you trying to ask how to pursue a girl you like? I paused for a second. Or rather, I've already been pursued and caught. I mean, making a woman blush get shy and make her heart race kind of thing. Bro, that's not called teasing. That's called flirting. Xiao Yu suddenly felt that Qing Guanglin was so pathetic. Being single for so long, he probably hasn't even held a girl's hand before, not even knowing the difference between teasing and pursuing. He had to help him out. I stared at the messages and fell into deep thought. Flirting with women? Seems like that's how it goes. Then tell me, how do you actually flirt? This is a deep science. The most basic thing is during daily conversation, you toss out some smooth lines. I'll give you a demonstration. What's your Chinese zodiac animal? Xiao Yu decided to share his secret techniques learned from the internet. With no holding back, you already know I was born in the year of the dog, don't you? I felt a bit baffled. You belong to me. Looking at the text in front of me, I felt like the gates to a brand new world had just been blown open. Switching chat windows, I immediately sent it to Mitu Daigui. What's your Chinese zodiac animal again? To my surprise, she countered, what's yours? I'm a dog. What about you? Wait. You belong to me. I couldn't keep my cool anymore. Isn't this just pure cheesy pickup lines? Way too cringe, no way. I got reverse swept. That failed, I can't take this blow. Are there any more hardcore moves? I continued asking my best friend for advice. Xiao Yu frowned while holding his phone. Looks like the opponent's rank is pretty high up there. It's totally normal to fail on your first try. Just ponder over it a bit more. Is there some kind of ultimate finishing move or something? Xiao Yu shook his head. You don't even have the basics down. How are you gonna pull off an ultimate move? Regardless of whether I can pull it off or not, just casually teach me one move so I can see if it's viable. I was getting a bit impatient. I absolutely have to turn the tables here. I can't keep getting bullied all the time. Fine. Then I'll teach you an ace in the hole ultimate technique. Guaranteed absolute checkmate. Following my best friend's tips, I started browsing the web, searching up a term called kabadon. After understanding what it meant, a light bulb went off in my head. So that's how it is. This thing really is an absolute finishing move. I've committed it to memory. If that girl still goes too far and uses little babies to poke fun at me, I'll use this ultimate move to checkmate her. Ding, my phone chimed at that moment. I picked it up and glanced at it. It was a message from Mitu Daigui. Let's restart. This time I promise to play along and not mess around. I swear I'll definitely cooperate this time. I refuse, thank you very much. Then when are you waking up? Just woke up a little while ago? Then you're probably going to struggle to fall asleep again tonight. Should have woken you up when I left. Looking at this exchange, I felt like something wasn't quite right. Yet I couldn't pick out what was wrong with it. I put the phone down, let it sit for a bit, then picked it back up. I have a question. He Fang replied with an, why? Why are there so many whys? You know what I'm asking? I want to know. To figure out whether my girlfriend was after my body, I launched a soul-searching interrogation at the girl I had just confessed to. You know what I'm asking? I want to know. The phone remained silent for a long time without a reply. I tossed it to the side and stopped waiting. I don't believe in love at first sight without understanding each other at all. Falling for someone just from a single meeting. Is that even possible? Love at first sight is always just being after someone's body. Otherwise, who has ever heard of an ugly person being fallen for at first sight? From the moment He Fang and I met to the time we got together, every single step was guided entirely by He Fang. Initiating the friend request, then guiding the meetup, guiding me to like her, and then guiding the confession. There has to be a reason behind all this. Could it be that she's scouting out my body? Impossible. My emotional intelligence might be a tiny, teeny bit low, but my IQ is definitely not low at all. Time for dinner. Mom knocked on the door, interrupting my train of thought. I gave an acknowledgement and walked out of the room. Most of the dishes were leftovers from lunch, just reheated. There was only one freshly stir-fried dish of 3 vegetarian delights, which happens to be both Mom's and my absolute favorite. Who knows where your little girlfriend learned how to cook from? I feel like her culinary skills are enough to open a restaurant. Kin's mom suddenly started praising Hefeng's cooking. Talent again. Could it be born talent? As if it wasn't from practicing hard. I casually replied, I gotta admit, the dish she stir-fried at noon really did taste better than what my own mom makes. That knife work definitely can't be called pure talent. She must have been cooking for her family since she was a kid. Kin's mom was more convinced it was forged through hard practice. What are your thoughts regarding her? I held my chopsticks and shoveled 2 large mouthfuls of rice, then raised my head to chew and ponder. I think I need to find a proper job. Relying solely on freelance outsourcing is way too unstable. It'd be best to go join a studio. Aren't you doing pretty well doing outsourcing right now? You're free and you can support yourself. Kin's mom was a bit surprised. It's not just about myself anymore. Kin's mom froze for a split second. This kid suddenly grew up just like that. She let out a sigh, feeling a mix of emotion and gratification. Right at the moment when someone realizes their responsibility and proactively takes it upon themselves, they truly become an adult. It's about time to start considering settling down too. After finishing dinner, I went back into my room and casually picked up the phone on the desk. It displayed a single unread message. Because you've always stood half a step behind and to my side. I thought about it for a while, feeling like I still didn't fully understand. But at least now I'm certain that I like her. And she likes me too. And that's enough. I gently tapped on my phone screen, and a line of text appeared in the chat window. What is your Chinese zodiac animal? The time to send it arrived in a flash. That night, lying in bed, I couldn't help starting to ponder the future. Focusing mainly on the creative side, and with such a unique style, it's hard to blend in with others. I'm really not suited for this type. Illustrator isn't bad either though. Hand-drawn illustrators have been super popular lately. I should keep an eye out for this one, and pick up some relevant professional knowledge when I have time. The gaming industry is also pretty lucrative. Demands for concept art and stuff just keep getting higher and higher. Lost in thought, I slowly drifted off to sleep, feeling unusually comfortable. There seemed to be the faint fragrance of Hefangs. Shampoo still lingering on the blanket, subtle and barely there. Do you think I look pretty? Pretty? Where are your eyes looking? I felt completely baffled. Didn't you tell me to look at the skirt? You're nervous. Huh, I'm not nervous. Then why is your face red? To help her own foolish boy gain a bit more wits, the aging mother actually poked 7 holes into 3 eggs. However, at this very moment, I was facing the teasing of the girl I liked, and felt completely at a loss. Why is your face so red? Seeing my reaction, Hefang's smile grew more and more radiant, gradually revealing 2 sharp fangs, while a pair of fox-like ears sprouted right out of the top of her head. Am I pretty terrified? I watched as over a dozen centimeters of long claws also grew out of her hands, while several fluffy tails bloomed out from behind her like a blossoming flower. Do you think I'm pretty? Seeing me cowering in the corner in terror without responding, the giant fox suddenly let out a fierce roar. Am I pretty or not? Jolting awake, I gasped heavily for breath, staring blankly for a few seconds. I finally realized I had just been dreaming. Turning my head to glance outside the window, the sky was already growing faintly bright. What time even is this? Looks like I won't be falling back asleep. I simply propped myself up against the bed, picked up my phone, and decided to check out job openings online first. The next moment, my phone notification chime rang out. I tapped on it to take a look, and sure enough, it was a message from Mitu Daiguai. Morning, you're up super early today too. Once I'm awake, I can't fall back asleep. Are you free today? I stared at the screen and thought it over. Getting work matters sorted out first is definitely more important. If she wants to go play outside, I'll just reject her first. No. So I replied, whether I'm free or not depends on what you want to do. I want to go to the amusement park with you, an amusement park. I paused slightly. An amusement park, that ultimate dating hotspot. What time? I'll come find you at noon. I still have an exam in the morning. Got it. Good luck. I put my phone down and felt dazed for a moment. Weren't I supposed to reject her? How come the second I saw the word together, I completely lost all my resistance and agreed without a single shred of hesitation? Such a spineless move. After heavily looking down on myself for a bit, I got up and headed to the wardrobe to pick out an outfit for going out. This is the very first date after unlocking the official title, so I've got to dress up nicely. Hearing the commotion inside the room, Chin's mom in the living room poked her head in. So enthusiastic about getting up today. Mom, do you think this plaid shirt looks cooler? I pulled out a plaid shirt and held it up against my chest to measure. Chin's mom shot it a look of utter disgust. So tacky. I think the light blue one on the bed is much better. It has more vitality. Church, what do you know? I decided to stick to my own aesthetic. 2.5 minutes later, after walking out of my room and finishing my wash up, I blankly took 3 eggs from my mother's hand. Look at you, forgot again, didn't you? Today is your birthday. Chin's mom sighed, walking back toward the balcony to continue her chores. Hurry up and develop things properly with that girl, and let her take you off my hands sooner. That way, I won't have to stare at your foolish face every single day. Whenever I lay eyes on you, I just get pissed off. All you know is lying around in your room and never moving an inch, or end up covered in dirt and completely covered in paint. Long used to my mother's nagging, I paid it no mind. Picked up the exquisitely carved eggs and counted them 7. Yup, spot on. Oh, right. Chin's mom suddenly turned around using the birthday as an excuse. So, why don't you call Hefang over and have her eat dinner with us tonight? I'll buy some extra groceries. She's hanging out with me this afternoon, so we'll probably just eat outside directly. I muttered, munching on an egg with a slightly muffled voice. Then make sure you treat her to something good. Not just eating mutton palmo or spicy sour noodles on the side of the road. I know. Just stop worrying already. Holding the eggs, I hurried back toward my own room, thinking to myself that I'm just dating a girlfriend. How come she's even more invested than I am? What do you know, you little brat? Chin's mom understood her own son inside and out, and continued passing down her decades of experience. Girls need to be coaxed. Whether there's an occasion or not, give her small gifts, expensive or not. It's the thought that counts. When you go out to play, don't just stand there like a mute and say nothing. Are you listening to me? As soon as you finish eating, you burrow right back into your room. You're about to grow mold. I close my bedroom door, shutting my mother's voice outside. It's just dating. It's not like it's rocket science. 2.5 hours later, I arrived at our agreed meeting spot. But when I saw Hefang wearing a pink long dress, I was completely dumbfounded. How is it the exact same one she wore in my dream? She wouldn't have grown a bunch of tails in real life, would she? Because of a single pink maxi dress. The boy actually suspected his girlfriend had grown multiple tails. Why are you looking at me like that? Does it look bad? It looks great, really great. I suppressed the urge to check behind her for tails, and suddenly noticed she was holding a medium-sized paper box, square and neat. Right. What are you holding there? A secret? Hefang gave a mysterious smile, turning around and walking toward the amusement park entrance. She had arrived early and already bought the tickets. After entering the park, we first headed to the side lockers to store all our belongings, leaving only our phones and emergency pocket change. What should we play first? The carousel? Bumper cars, roller coaster, giant pendulum drop tower. We just got in and you want to ride something this hardcore. Are you scared? Hey, as if I'd be scared. Why aren't you keeping up? You dropped something. My phone and wallet are right here. What did I drop? Me? Mr. Kin? You were talking sweet to me on your phone yesterday, you know. It wasn't just me talking. We were talking to each other. You're making progress, I gotta reward you. Isn't this kind of a bad place for that? Then let's save it for later. Realizing I'd gotten outmaneuvered by her again, I angrily rubbed Hefang's little hand, and even used my thumb to stroke the back of her hand a few times. How strange. A woman's hands feel like her bones are made of nothing. They're so smooth and tender. Feels good. Hefang raised her head with a beaming smile. Feels good. Then you can pet it a few more times. Hefang tightened her grip on my little hand and cheerfully pulled me along into the roller coaster waiting area. Locheng's amusement park, ranked among the top tier of second-tier domestic parks in terms of specs. It had pretty much everything it needed. Though none of the individual rides were absolute domestic record breakers, they all had their own unique charm. Welcome to the Luocheng roller coaster. This attraction is suitable for passengers between 1.2 and 1.9 meters tall. Those with heart conditions, high blood pressure, motion sickness, seasickness, or alcohol intoxication are advised not to ride. Listening to the operator's introduction, I felt a little weak in the knees. This roller coaster, according to the promotional brochure, is over 900 meters long, has 4 big loops, a slow barrel roll, and even features a vertical drop. Growing up this big, the only time I ever rode a children's roller coaster was when I was little, and it was barely over 200 meters. Hefang tilted her head and smiled sweetly. Don't be scared, don't be scared. Even if he doesn't, it's fine. With me here, it's fine. With me here, the moment the operator pressed the start button, the roller coaster slowly began to move, clanking and clattering as it climbed upward. It looked so high. I silently sighed in my heart, raising my head and trying my best not to look down, while unconsciously gripping Hefang's hand tightly. When we climbed to the highest point, there was a brief dead halt, followed by a sudden violent plunge. The extreme G-force pushback and fierce chilly wind made my breath catch all at once. Before I even had time to react, we had already reached this giant loop. Everyone else started screaming at the top of their lungs. This is getting a bit too intense. What about Hefang? I turned my head to look at her, only to find that Hefang was looking right at me too, seeming to sense my fear. She first screamed out loud, just like the rest of the crowd, then turned her head and said, "Try shouting it out like this too." I paused for a second and screamed out loud right along with her, discovering that it actually felt pretty great. All the tension and anxiety were vented out through the screaming. Amidst the surging adrenaline and screaming, a carload of people spun around circle after circle. Those mere 3.5 minutes felt infinitely stretched out. I held tightly onto Hefang's hand and an indescribable wondrous feeling welled up, making me want to stay in this moment forever. How did it feel coming off the roller coaster? Hefang asked with a smile. Super thrilling. I'm still craving more. As long as you're not scared. Hefang grabbed my hand, shifted her steps, and walked into a small cabin labeled High Altitude Photography. Inside sat one computer and 2 printers. Hello, want to come take a look at the snapshots? The staff member enthusiastically turned the computer around and began introducing them. These are all photos from that exact ride just now. Take a look and see which ones you want. I was a bit pleasantly surprised. There's even a service like this. At this, the staff member tapped the keyboard twice. The very first row is you guys. In the photo, it captured the exact moment 2 people high up in the air were screaming with their mouths wide open, their hands still locked tightly together. It was shot very clearly, with every single facial detail on full display. Hefang seemed quite satisfied with this photo, studied it for a moment, and spoke up, "We'll take this one." The staff member was still pushing the sale. "Take a look and see if there are any other photos you'd like to print out." "No need, just this one." "Oh, alright then. Do you want 1 or 2 copies of this one?" I was just about to say 2 when Hefang already spoke up first. "1 large one." "Coming right up, 1 large one," the guy repeated while tapping away at the keyboard. The printer started up with a creaking noise. A sheet of photographic paper slid into the machine from the top, and then slowly spat out inch by inch from the bottom. The image of the 2 of them was already printed right onto it. "Are you really sure you don't want copies of the other few as well? It's rare to come out and play. Photos are meant for keeping memories after all. The more the merrier. They'll all be memories later on." The guy had a whole script ready, trying to persuade the 2 of them to keep a few more. "No need, this one is enough." Hefang smiled brightly as she fished out her phone. "How much is the total?" "Let me pay." I hurriedly pulled out my money. Hefang turned her head to look at me, and for some reason, without saying a word, and without any extra gestures, just through this single look, I instantly read and understood Hefang's intent. "You and I don't need to sweat over things like this between us." "Oh right, can you email or send me a digital copy too?" Hefang asked the guy once more. "Company rules state we can't give out digital copies." The guy shook his head. "Otherwise, who even develops photos these days?" Boom, just like that. "Look, I've already developed the photo, but if it's really that hard for you, add another $10. How about that?" Leaving the small cabin, Hefang was still holding that photo, looking at it over and over, full of joy. "Which attraction should we go to next?" I asked from the side. Hefang thought for a moment, then shoved the photo into my arms. "You hold the photo. Let's go over there." She took my hand and started walking forward. "Why didn't we want 2 copies?" I looked at the photo in my hand. It really was shot quite well, and I liked it a lot myself. "Why would we want 2 copies? Do you want to split up from me?" "Why 2 copies? Do you want to split up from me?" How could that be?" "Then 1 copy is enough." "Alright." 2.5 minutes later, Hefang pointed full of excitement at a column standing over 100 meters tall and said, "The drop tower." Listening to the earth-shattering screams coming from above, I unconsciously swallowed hard, feeling a little weak in the legs. Stealing a quick glance at the girl beside me, Kamhal wore a beaming smile. "Are we going or not?" "Coming to the amusement park. The hardcore anchor attractions were just those three that He Fang mentioned at the very beginning. Everything else was a tier lower. Even so, He Fang and I still spent close to 2 hours just experiencing most of the attractions once. 2.5 hours later, on a bench along the park pathway, He Fang still looked full of energy. Qin Guangling had taken too much stimulation from those rides and was already quite exhausted. The park's landscaping was done pretty well, with different plants distributed across each zone. He Fang's eyes lit up as she looked at a small patch of flowers not far away, suddenly looping her arm through mine and saying, "Let's take a picture." I cooperatively flashed a V sign. As the sound of the phone's shutter went off, He Fang wrinkled her little nose and looked at me. "I'm going to throw away all your plaid shirts in the future. They're so tacky. How is a plaid shirt tacky? This is something I picked out after agonizing over it for half a day. It's just tacky." He Fang showed me the photo she had just snapped on her phone. And this V sign is tacky too. Who still poses with a peace sign when taking photos nowadays? It's full of vitality. How is it as bad as you're making it sound? No way, retake it. He Fang wasn't satisfied. Lean in a bit closer right there. Put down the V sign. Put your hand behind my back. Or putting your arm around me is fine too. After taking it, she looked at it again. Still unsatisfied, let's do it again. Your expression is way too serious. Stop putting on a stiff face. You gotta smile, you know. As the sound of the shutter rang out once more, a photo full of special vibes was snapped. "I think this one's fine. Are all roads the same to you?" "They're totally different, okay," Ha Fang said, full of disdain. I stood up and handed the phone back to her. "We're done taking pictures now, right? There are still some areas we haven't checked out yet. Let's hurry up, take one more picture, just the very last one." He Fang urged, "We haven't taken it yet." What's so great about vertical ones when we've already taken so many? If you don't behave, I'm going to kiss you. If you don't behave, I'm going to kiss you." I pressed my lips together, really wanting to keep misbehaving and let her make good on the threat, yet feeling like that would be way too deliberate, making it look like I was intentionally tricking her into kissing me. That wouldn't be good. Hesitating for a moment, I sat back down on the bench and cooperated with He Fang as she went click click again. 2.5 hours later, I looked at the photos He Fang sent over, thinking to myself that women really are all liars. She promised it was the last one, only to end up taking 2 more before finally stopping. And she even forced me to set the photo as my phone wallpaper. Looking at the photo on the home screen, where the two of us had our heads pressed right against each other, I suddenly paused for a second. Looking at it this way, it actually does look a little tacky. No, the tacky part is the plaid shirt. After taking the photos, I pointed ahead and asked, "Are you tired? Do you want to go to the rest area up ahead to take a break and buy something to drink along the way?" "Sure," He Fang nodded, happily pulling me along as she sped up her steps toward that big mushroom-shaped little house ahead. The rest areas in the park were all styled after various plants. "What do you want to drink?" I inwardly clicked my tongue looking at the price list. A bottle of cola cost $10, and a bottle of mineral water cost $6. Scenic spot prices really are a rip-off. Plus the selection here wasn't very big either. I didn't like drinking carbonated beverages, but He Fang had already taken a carton of apple-flavored milk straight out of the fridge, grabbed a bottle of lemonade as well, and looked over at me. You're drinking this, right?" Right." I nodded. "You go find a seat and wait for me. I'll go pay." He Fang hummed an acknowledgement, sat down on the chair, peeled open the straw, poked it into the carton, and started sipping slowly. She kept sipping until the carton made that sucking sound of air rushing in, before finally putting the empty carton down. Then she narrowed her eyes and gently let out a breath. I watched as right on her bright red little lips, a tiny drop of yogurt was left behind by the straw, just as I was wondering if the milk tasted even better. A sliver of her pink little tongue tip poked out and rolled it right back into her mouth. Inside the rest area, aside from a few tables and the counter, there was also a circle of claw machines along the edge. Seeing He Fang looking around wondering what she was staring at, I stepped up and followed her gaze. "Do you like claw machines? I'll win one for you." He Fang shook her head. "You won't be able to win." What's so hard about it? You just control the claw and aim, no big deal." There are no plushies I like in this one." He Fang stood up, took 2 steps forward, and suddenly turned back with a smile. "If you see one I like another day, you've got to win it for me properly, okay? If you see one I like another day, you've got to win it for me properly, okay?" I blushed and gave a muffled agreement, then got pulled forward by her again. Walking out a few paces and taking a turn, there was a castle-shaped building right beside us. "Is that a haunted house? Do you want to go check it out?" I asked speculatively. "It's super scary. Let's just play something else instead." He Fang hesitated for a second. "Are you scared?" I was a little excited. All day long, He Fang had been super pumped riding all sorts of attractions. So this was My very first time discovering she actually had things she was scared of too. It's totally normal to be a little scared of a pitch dark place, right? Isn't the whole point of an amusement park chasing thrills? I pulled her toward the haunted house. Since you want to play it so badly, it's not like I can't accompany you inside. Nunhall gave me a strange look, wondering what on earth I was so hyped about. But I'm stating this in advance, you aren't allowed to deliberately scare me inside. And you can't walk too far away from me either. Otherwise, I'll get mad. Alright, I'll hold on to you the whole time. Just as we walked past the entrance, a staff member wearing a skeleton mask suddenly popped out. Greetings, you too. He-Fang was startled straight out of her wits. Diving right into my arms, I'm a staff member here. If you want to experience the attraction, come this way. Enter through here. The skeleton pointed toward a gloomy-looking giant door nearby. Go in through this door. If you manage to find a way out alive, you'll make it out through the exit. If not, Age, how could we possibly not find a way out? Just stick close to me, I said unbothered. And taking He-Fang's hand, I walked right inside. Oh, right. There aren't any staff members dressed as ghosts to scare people in here, right? The skeleton at the entrance made a spooky hee sound effect. Are there or are there not? Guess, and there's also a weird smell. He-Fang behind me suddenly spoke up in a weak voice. I sniffed the air. Yeah, kind of. Who knows, maybe it's the smell of damp rot. The skeleton at the entrance slowly closed the heavy doors. Oh well, then I wish you both a good time enjoying this adventure. With that, the light vanished in a flash, leaving only a few green lights emitting a faint glow, so they wouldn't lose sight of the path and walk into walls. Creepy eerie music, and a cold breeze blowing from nowhere, made the atmosphere feel even more terrifying. It actually feels pretty legit. I felt a little weak in the knees, but a real man's gotta protect his woman like this. This time I've totally redeemed myself. This kind of place is just a low-tier haunted house, using darkness to build up fear, and then having some dummy props suddenly twitch. You just gotta tell yourself it's all fake and you'll be fine. I said to He-Fang, pretending to be super experienced. Suddenly a hanging, long-haired female ghost dropped down from the ceiling above, letting out an eerie laugh. He-Fang's body shuddered. She let out a short muffled shriek and tightly hugged the person beside her. It's fake, it's fake. Don't be scared, don't be scared. I forced a calm composure, patted He-Fang's back to comfort her and said, we can just walk right past it. He-Fang was clinging to him with her eyes squeezed shut, letting him carry her forward, without even looking at the road. Is she really that scared? If I'd known, I wouldn't have stubbornly dragged her in here. I chuckled inwardly, talking loudly to her while walking forward. The little bit of fear in my heart had completely vanished, and my confidence was wilder and higher than ever before. Suddenly, behind the two of them, the sound of full chains clanking together rang out, followed by a second sound, and a third. I glanced back over my shoulder. Out of nowhere, a towering figure had appeared, holding something massive that looked like a huge weapon, and walking right toward them, seeking a thrill. A young couple who had only been dating for 2.5 days actually came to a haunted house to play. Yet, 2.5 minutes ago, listening to the chains and laughter echoing from behind, the two of them were completely dumbfounded. What the heck is this thing? Holding a knife that big and dragging someone along too. Even if it's a prop, this is way too terrifying. On Hurry Run, I gave He-Fang a tug, only to find that she was rooted to the spot, completely unmoving. He-Fang's face was pale as ice, her voice trembling slightly. My legs aren't listening to me? Damn it. Who would have thought this haunted house actually had real people playing actors? I yanked He-Fang straight into my arms, thinking that if we get caught, are we seriously going to have to take some kind of failure penalty? What kind of trashy haunted house is this? What do I do if it's no fun? He's already frozen stiff from fear. If I'd known, I wouldn't have dragged him into playing this. Thinking of this, I hardened my resolve. Bent down, scooped up He-Fang's legs, and scooped her up into a bridal carry. Hang in there. I'm gonna carry you and run. Thank goodness, back in college, I used to work out with my roommates all the time. Even though I'd been a shut-in for 2 years without much exercise. At least my baseline was still there. Yet 8 minutes later, looking at the unhurried silhouette trailing right behind me, I couldn't help muttering, damn it. Why is it still chasing us? Whenever I sped up, it sped up. Whenever I slowed down, it slowed down. The moment I showed any sign of stopping it would close the gap by 2 steps. If this keeps up, we're done for. I grew secretly anxious in my heart. As we rounded a corner, I clutched He-Fang and darted off to the side, sneaking into a pitch-black room. Let's try our luck, we won't get found here, right? If that thing really comes over here, then I'll just jump up and throw hands with it. I thought to myself, while gesturing a thumbs up back at He-Fang. He-Fang's little head moved slightly, and in the dim light, his eyes looked as if they were glowing. Warm breath puffed against my collarbone. I don't know how much time passed, maybe a very long time. Or maybe just a tiny fraction of a moment. The chains sounded out once again, slowly walking back in the direction they came from, causing a flurry of dummy props to thrash around. Listening to the sounds fade far away, Hifang asked in a small voice, "Did he leave? It sounds like we can't hear him anymore." I nodded. "He should be gone. Let's hurry up and go." "About that, thanks to someone's blessing. Right now, I'm being held so tightly I can't get up." Hefang wriggled her body, and only then did I realize that my hands were still cupping his little butt. 2.5 minutes later, I poked my head out from the room, and after making sure no one was around, I took Hifang's hand again and started walking forward. After escaping the pursuit of the chain and axe maniac, there were no more of those things chasing people around. I was still walking in front, and Hifang no longer had the fear she felt at the very beginning, safely following behind and walking. Slowly. It looked like we were getting close to the exit. I glanced at the map directions on the wall, then turned my head to look at Hifang. "How come you don't seem very scared anymore?" Hudfang didn't answer, suddenly grabbing my collar and pulling it downward. Caught completely off guard, I froze, only feeling a scorching breath wash right over my face. Hefang just pressed against me lightly, touching and parting in an instant. "From the exact moment you picked me up and ran, I wasn't scared anymore. From the exact moment you picked me up and ran, I wasn't scared anymore. Alright, let's hurry up and go." I completely don't remember when exactly I walked out of that haunted house. All I remember is the lingering sensation left on my lips, and that hateful guy inside the entrance, wearing the skeleton mask. 2.5 minutes later at the haunted house entrance, just as I was wondering what ride to hit up next, Hifang suddenly reached out and grabbed the sea salt drink from my hand, then took a sip as naturally as could be. "Let's head to the exit." I took back the sea salt drink he handed back, feeling a little thirsty, yet too embarrassed to open it and drink. How on earth does he manage to be so natural about this? I felt my cheeks burning slightly. Judging by my own rich emotional experience, two people who had only just started dating a short while ago should probably just stick to holding hands. Yet here we were, hugging and kissing already. Wasn't the progress moving a bit too fast? "Let's go back and grab something first. Then we'll keep playing once we've got it." Hifang pointed toward the exit and said, then without waiting for my reaction, pulled me along as we walked forward. The thing was that box he had been carrying when he first entered the park. Curious, I asked another question. "What is this?" Hefang shook her head. "It's a secret you'll find out when the time comes." With that, he suddenly reached out his hand again. I paused for a second, not yet reacting. "Hand over your hand," Hifang said. I submissively handed my hand over to him. Only then did Hifang walk forward completely satisfied. Right in the dead center of the park was a massive lake, taking up over half of the park's total area. At the boat dock, there were over 20 pedal boats parked, the kind where you have to pedal manually using your feet. "I want a large 4-person boat, and 2 packs of fish feed." The staff member wearing a straw hat nodded. Coming right up, I took the box from Hifang's hands, then helped steady him onto the boat. Only after we were seated securely did the staff member untie the rope at the bow and give it a gentle push, sending the boat drifting away from the shore and out onto the lake. On the large 4-person boat specially chosen by Hifang, only the 2 of us were sitting. This kind of boat was a bit longer than the 2-person ones, with a square raised section right in the middle. Sitting right there was the box he had brought along. I tried pedaling the foot pedals twice. Finding that pedaling this thing was actually quite fun, Hifang had already opened a pack of fish feed, grabbing a handful with her little hand and scattering it outward. The school of fish instantly went crazy and started stirring up, a massive red wave rapidly pressing forward. "We can't feed them in the exact same spot. If we scatter it right beside the boat, they'll follow us right to the center of the lake," Nanyiho said, grabbing another small handful of fish feed and scattering it out. A massive school of fish chased their boat in a triangular formation, guiding them bit by bit, Looking at the sight before my eyes, I felt my entire body and mind completely relax, a trace of cozy comfort welling up naturally. "You're right, you gotta take it step by step." Ha Hong gave me a meaningful look. For some reason, I always felt like that look was a bit off. Must be my imagination, right? "You said you had an exam today? What was it for again?" I asked, changing the subject. "The Mandarin proficiency test, it's super simple." Hifang grabbed another handful of fish feed and scattered it across the lake's surface. I was a little surprised. "Why take an exam for that? If you want to get a teacher qualification certificate, it's mandatory." I was even more surprised. You're gonna be a teacher, no way." Hifang turned her head and arched an eyebrow. "I didn't mean it like that." I gestured with my hands for a moment and then put them down. In my own impression, Chinese language teachers were always stiff, faced super authoritative, and looked really fierce when they talked. I couldn't picture Fang pulling a stiff face and sternly lecturing students. I plan on becoming an elementary school Chinese teacher. It comes with winter and summer breaks, it's chill. And there's less hassle. Fang spoke as if she had already mapped out her future life. Classmate Qin Guangling, how do you think Teacher He's lecture was? Classmate Qin Guangling, how do you think Teacher He's lecture was? I found that once she struck that pose, she really did have a genuine teacher vibe to her, especially that look in her eyes. But I heard being a teacher is super exhausting, having to put together lesson plans all day long, grading homework, making teaching schedules, and all that stuff. It's not as chill as you're making it sound. Do you know, or do I know, Kanpong gave me a sideways glance, then suddenly leaned in close, reaching out to prop up my chin. Oh, right. From now on, I'll call you classmate Chin, and you have to call me teacher. Letting me experience what it feels like to be a teacher in advance. I refuse, I'm older than you. You should be calling me Big Brother Chin instead. I agree. Big Brother. Stop. You should just stick to calling my name. I hurriedly stopped her, thinking to myself, how come everything turns weird the moment it comes out of her mouth? Brother, Fang sweetly called out once more. I think classmate Chin is pretty good. I think we should just go with classmate Chin. I felt my face burning fiercely, leaving me with no choice but to compromise. All right then, classmate Chin, let's hear you call out Teacher He. Nanhwa wouldn't let up. How is this person so good at teasing people? Just as I was hesitating in my heart whether to shout it out or not. Hey, I'm just messing with you. Fang stopped right at the perfect moment, just as things felt right. She scattered another round of fish feed and asked, I saw your WeChat Moments post. Are you looking for a job? Yeah, I nodded. In the past, I just made a living off commissions and freelance illustration, never really put thought into a regular job. I'm planning to look around first, though who knows when I'll find a suitable one. Why look so early? Fang suddenly asked an out-of-nowhere question. I paused for a second, confused. What do you mean? Why say that? Now it was Fang's turn to freeze. She hesitated for a moment and explained, I mean, isn't it pretty great just living like you are right now? You can build up your experience more. Waiting another 2 years to consider finding a job isn't too late either. Working is how you actually build up proper experience. I felt like his mindset was different from everyone else's. Besides, sticking to freelance outsourcing only barely keeps you fed. And it's super unstable. Might as well find a real proper job. Fang's brows knitted slightly together, not knowing what she was mulling over. After a moment, she finally spoke up. Anyway, I think you don't need to rush right now. After all, you only have yourself to feed. Getting prepared now means no panicking later. Seeing that the pack of fish feed in his hand was hitting rock bottom, I grabbed another open pack and handed it to him. You were already taking qualification exams before even graduating? That's what's actually rushing, all right? Fang sighed. 2.5 minutes later, she tugged on my sleeve. Hold on. Stop pedaling for a second. Just drift right here for a bit and close your eyes. Close my eyes for what? I looked at her blankly, stopping the pedaling motion with my feet. Whatever you want me to do, I can satisfy you, Whatever you want me to do, I can satisfy you. I blushed and gave a muffled agreement, thinking to myself that she definitely must be plotting something shady again. I must absolutely not fall for it this time. So I straight up closed my eyes. Fine, do whatever you want to me then. Really? Fang leaned in close and asked in a low voice, her exhaled breath tickling my face. Really? I'm ready. Yet time ticked by second, and I didn't feel a single thing. Why is she taking so long? Why hasn't she started yet? All right, open your eyes. Is that it already? It ended before it even started. I slammed my eyes open. Greeting my vision was an exquisite birthday cake, with my own name written right on top of it. Fang held the cake up and gave it a little shake. Aren't you surprised? Aren't you amazed? How did you know today is my birthday? I took the cake, feeling completely amazed. I had originally planned to wait until the amusement park trip was over, to tell her, and then go out to eat somewhere together. Teacher, he calculates with divine precision. A single pinch of the fingers tells me your birth date. Fang smugly shook her little head, placed the cake in the middle of the boat and said, hurry up and make a wish. She smiled sweetly. What I said earlier is still valid. Whatever you want me to do will be fulfilled. Anything at all, oh. Fang lowered her voice in a seductive tone. Then close your eyes. I decided it was time to launch a counterattack. She had sneakily kissed me several times already, so I needed to get mine back. Nianhua gave an affirmative response and obediently closed her eyes. I leaned forward a bit. This was my very first time closely admiring Fang's little face up close on her tender, delicate cheeks. There was still the lingering fine peach fuzz unique to a young girl, making her look wonderfully bouncy and making me want to reach out and pinch her cheek. Fighting down the urge to touch her, I shifted my gaze downward. Hefang's rosy, poetic little lips were radiating an alluring gloss. My disobedient heartbeat went wild and sped up, my breathing turning a bit ragged. Do whatever you want, stay calm. Hold steady, we can win this. I gently pressed against her warm lips. A tingling, numbing sensation spread outward from the point of contact. I hurriedly sat back down, my heart thumping wildly. Thump, 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 thump. Stay composed, don't panic. Later on, we'll probably be kissing for half a day like in the TV shows anyway. Is that it? Hefang slowly opened her eyes. New classmate, I gave you the chance, but you just couldn't handle it, huh? Classmate Chin, I gave you the chance, but you just couldn't handle it? Huh, I widened my eyes looking at her. Does that mean I could have done something even more daring? How come you're blushing again? Hefang looked at the other person with keen interest. The one who just got kissed was me. I was burning up so much I looked every which way, playfully waving my hand in front of my face. It is way too hot out today. Hehe, it sure is lively. Come on, let's eat some cake. Hefang lifted the plastic knife and got ready to slice the cake. This is my first time, I muttered, crying out softly. Hefang seemed not to have heard clearly. What did you say? This is the first time I've ever kissed a girl. I raised my voice, not even knowing what I was getting worked up over. Hefang couldn't hold back her smile, holding the cake as she leaned in closer. Classmate Chin, did you know you're super cute? I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. Stuck in a daze, I took the cake and took a huge bite. Hefang cut a piece for herself as well, and started eating it in tiny little bites. Classmate Chin, my birthday has already passed, so what are we going to do about that? Well, you can just celebrate it next year, but that means waiting another whole year. I think that's unfair. How is that unfair? I stopped the action of eating my cake and looked at her warily, having a gut feeling this girl was about to pull some more shenanigans. Look at it this way, you made a wish today, while I have to wait until next year to make mine. If you calculate it like that, won't I permanently have one less wish than you? I looked at her with a wary expression. So your point is that I need to make up a wish too. Sure enough, although I didn't know what she was plotting, my intuition told me this wish definitely wouldn't be simple. I needed to be a bit cautious. I took a bite of cake and nodded, fine, but you aren't allowed to make an overly outrageous request. What do you mean by an outrageous request? A mischievous smile hung on the corner of Hefang's lips. Give me an example and let's see. I thought about it and couldn't come up with one. How about you say it first, and I'll judge whether it's too outrageous or not. The corner of Hefang's mouth curled up. It's just that every time we meet up for the first time each day, you have to kiss me once. And when we part ways, you have to kiss me too. I felt a little doubtful whether I had misheard. Is this request outrageous or not? Hefang continued to ask. I awkwardly scratched the back of my head, pretending to agree with feigned reluctance. Fine, all right. This request really wasn't outrageous at all. After all, the two of us were dating now. And besides, this was her request. It wasn't like I was craving it myself. This request really wasn't outrageous at all. After all, the two of us were dating now. And besides, this was her request. It wasn't like I was craving it myself. Then it's settled. Taking effect starting right now, with a permanent duration. During everyone's first love, they all develop the illusion that they can keep walking forward with the other person forever. I was no exception. If we live together in the future, that's twice a day. Over a year, that's over 700 times. And over 10 years, that's more than 7,000 times. Thinking of this, I forcefully suppressed the corners of my mouth from lifting up uncontrollably. What are you idiotically smiling about? Hefang asked. I'm not idiotically smiling. Fine, 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 you aren't. Hefang pointed to the remaining cake in front of us. You're responsible for finishing off the rest of this. Then she reached out to gently press down on her skirt, raised her feet to test out pedaling the foot pedals twice, and finding that it wouldn't cause any wardrobe malfunctions, started pedaling leisurely. As for me, I started devouring it heartily right beside her. A real man's gotta eat big bites of food and drink big gulps of water. Otherwise, eating like a little kitten the way she did would just be way too sissy. Hefang picked up some cake crumbs scattered on the base, turned around and tossed them to the dwindling school of fish. Aren't there still leftovers of the fish feed? I reminded her. Since when is fish feed as delicious as cake? Hefang gazed blankly at the school of fish. 2.5 minutes later, I stuffed the very last piece of cake into my mouth. I'm done eating. You take a break for a bit, and let me switch to pedaling. As she turned around, Hefang suddenly reached out her hand, slowly wiping away a speck of cake from the corner of my mouth. Then, she very naturally put her thumb into her own mouth and licked it clean. My astonishment instantly turned into sheer panic. What's wrong? You want to have some too? Hefang pulled her index finger out of her mouth and placed it right in front of my eyes. I looked at Hefang's finger stained with saliva. then looked at her face and stammered out, "No, I'm good." Could this woman seriously be a spirit in disguise? I heard real gar wine can make snake spirits reveal their true forms. Wonder if it works on fox spirits. Could this woman seriously be a spirit in disguise? I heard real gar wine can make snake spirits reveal their true forms. Wonder if it works on fox spirits. Still want to play anything else? Kifang picked up the park's navigation brochure on the side and asked, "Let's see. If you're tired, we won't play anymore." "I'm alright, not too tired." Hefang was all smiles. "I had a super fun time today. Thanks for keeping me company." Hefang put down the park brochure. "Let's grab dinner together in a bit." "Oh, where do you want to go eat?" "At your house." I paused for a second. "My house?" Ninhao nodded. "Today is your birthday. So let's have dinner with Mom. We just got together. Don't you think things are moving a bit too fast?" I explained with some hesitation. "I mean, you running over to my house so frequently might give people the impression that, anyway, I just feel like it's not great for you." Hefang turned around and stared straight at the other person. Then suddenly blurted out, "You want to say I'm acting way too proactive, giving off the vibe of throwing myself at you. And Mom will think I'm super frivolous." "Pretty much." I scratched my head. "It's not that I personally think that way. I'm just a little worried. A young girl running over to a guy's house all day long is definitely going to get people gossiping. Most importantly, what if Mom changed her impression of her because of this? That would spell trouble. Then why don't you just be more proactive?" Hefang crinkled her nose. "I've always been proactive. And me chasing after you is a fact anyway. It's mutual, so what's all this about chasing or not chasing?" I disagreed with that statement. "Anyway, let's take things slow and not rush it." But I'm in a huge rush." Hefang's expression turned serious. "I really, really like you. Super duper crazy much. What am I gonna do?" Looking at her, all my stray thoughts suddenly vanished. "I really like you too. So we're officially dating." Hefang looked down at our tightly clasped hands and suddenly froze for a second. Then it settled. "We're going to your house for dinner? If we head back now to buy groceries, the timing will be just right. And I'll cook tonight." "Sounds good." I submissively nodded. Hefang suddenly leaned in and gave me a peck. "Don't worry. I'll handle everything. You've got to trust teacher, his capabilities. As for real gar wine or whatever, I guess I'll just drink it myself." This girl must be a gift sent by an angel. How could she possibly be a spirit? "As for real gar wine or whatever, I guess I'll just drink it myself." This girl must be a gift sent by an angel. How could she possibly be a spirit? After getting off the pedal boat with Hafang, we headed over to the lakeside. "Since you've basically met my family now, when are you gonna take me to meet yours?" Looking at the scenery before us, I gritted my teeth and asked, thinking to myself that I couldn't keep staying passive and waiting for her to invite me to her place. I needed to take the initiative. After all, we'd already kissed, touched, and everything. Hufang looked a bit surprised. "Well, how come you're suddenly in even more of a rush than me?" "I gotta take responsibility for you, you know." I inexplicably felt a little guilty. "We should lock things down quickly. After all, we've already done everything we were supposed to do." "What do you mean, done everything we were supposed to do?" Hefang's eyes went wide. "When on earth did you do anything?" And Locke went down. "Right back in the haunted house? Didn't we already do it?" My voice kept getting softer and softer. "Weren't you in a huge rush? That's why we gotta lock down the marriage plans fast?" Hefang was stunned for 2.5 seconds, then suddenly burst out laughing. "That's not what I was in a rush about." I felt my face burning fiercely. "Stop laughing. I'm being super serious here." Hanfal suddenly grasped my hand. "As for marriage, seriously, don't rush it. I haven't even graduated yet. Once you've done everything you're supposed to do, then we can talk about marriage." Hefang pursed her lips, trying hard to hold back her laughter, yet couldn't hold it back no matter what. "Classmate Chin, you still have so many things you haven't done yet." I blankly raised my head, then stared in complete shock as if I had thought of something. Do you mean you want to have a baby before—" "No way! What on earth are you thinking about?" Hunfang interrupted me, turned her head away to zone out for a good long moment before continuing. "Anyway, don't worry. All the things you're supposed to do, I'll slowly teach you later on." "Anyway, don't worry. All the things you're supposed to do, I'll slowly teach you later on." 2.5 minutes later, I was holding Hefang's little hand as we arrived at the vegetable market to buy groceries. As a result, all the familiar neighborhood uncles and aunties acted as if they had just discovered some shocking new gossip. Wouldn't it be nice to just greet people like we usually do? Why is everyone's attention entirely on Hefang? I pretended to act completely natural while dealing with those people, even though my heart was beating anxiously. Turns out the progress really was too fast. Suddenly showing up like this right in front of acquaintances truly made people find it fresh and surprising. Hefang faced all of this very calmly, nodding and smiling from time to time, looking not nervous in the slightest. Whenever she noticed me wanting to let go of her hand, She would grip my hand even tighter and look up to give me a warning glare. With no other choice, I had to drag him along with faster steps to quickly put an end to this awkwardness. Arriving in front of the vegetable stall, I began following right behind He-Fang, acting completely as her utility man. I watched as He-Fang skillfully picked and chose items at the stall, gently pinching them from time to time to check if the vegetables were fresh. Potatoes, carrots, spicy peppers, and cucumbers, we should have pretty much everything. Hongfang raised her head. By the way, is there any preserved mustard greens left at home? I went completely blank and let out an ah. Forget it, we should still go buy some. You go over there and have the vendor scoop up a black carp. Soon I bought the fish and found He-Fang again. Oh, right, if there are 3 people eating, let's add some garlic moss too. There should still be some dried tree ear fungus at home. Hearing He-Fang's tally, I finally couldn't hold it in anymore. How do you know you and your mom only like fish meat and chicken? Plus some vegetarian stir-fries that are hard to order outside. Especially that garlic moss. Most people basically just stir-fry it with meat or eggs. And I've yet to see a second person stir-frying it with wood ear mushrooms. How on earth did she know that? Especially that garlic moss. Most people basically just stir-fry it with meat or eggs. And I've yet to see a second person stir-frying it with wood ear mushrooms. How on earth did she know that? Didn't I tell you, teacher, he is amazing? He-Fang smugly turned around. Based on the 8 characters where water and wood interconnect, clear yet not turbid, the commercial officials reap the profit. And the Daymaster gazes forth as one. At a glance, you're clearly a vegetarian. I was utterly bewildered. Are you running a superstition scam? You just need to know that I have divine calculations, and you must obediently listen to my words. He-Fang turned back and flashed a radiant smile. Because my mouth has been blessed by the gods. Seeing her turn around and walk toward home, I grabbed the grocery bags in both hands and hurried to catch up. Could it be that when we first met, what you said about facial reading was actually serious? It was serious. Then did you also see from my facial reading that the 2 of us would do that together? Yep. Saw it right on the very first meeting. Then what else did you see? I also saw that you're going to win the lottery. For real. I choked up for a second. You don't even buy lottery tickets. That's true too. He-Fang walked onward with her hands behind her back. You also never smoke, and you have a scar on your right foot. From when you got cut by a broken bowl as a kid, there's also a mole on your thigh. I stood completely dumbfounded, unable to utter a single word. He-Fang suddenly turned around with a smile. Do you believe me now? Are you actually a fox spirit in disguise? I stepped back a bit. I've heard that lots of fox immortals, willow immortals, and the like frequently possess humans to tell fortunes. No way. This is authentic traditional Chinese culture, Kimen Dunjia. Pretty awesome, right? A bit terrifying. Did you use that Dunjia thing to find me? Heavenly secrets cannot be leaked. Hand me the key so I can unlock the door. Walking up the stairs and unlocking the door, He-Fang suddenly reached out to take the groceries from my hand. Give me 1 bag of stuff. I dodged away and said, I can just carry them. You just go on inside. He-Fang didn't stop what she was doing. She took 1 bag of groceries and then explained earnestly. Even though you insisted on carrying everything yourself along the way, it wouldn't look good for me to walk in empty-handed right now. Even though you insisted on carrying everything yourself along the way, it wouldn't look good for me to walk in empty-handed right now. At that moment, Mom was on the balcony tinkering with her monstera plant. Hearing someone open the door, she turned her head. Why are you back so early? Didn't you say you were taking He-Fang? Auntie, hello. I'm here to bother you again. He-Fang was holding a bag of groceries, standing right at the doorway with a bright smile. He-Fang, why are you here? Are you tired? Why didn't you let Shaolin carry everything? And why did you buy so many groceries? He-Fang stepped aside and carried the groceries into the kitchen. Guangling said it's his birthday, so he insisted on buying some groceries to come cook and eat together. I hope I'm not intruding on you. Of course not, of course not. How could that possibly be an intrusion? Mom turned her head to glare at Qin Guangling. This brat is getting more and more sensible. This morning, he said he wasn't coming back to Iso. Now he's dragged the kitchen right over here. After setting down all the groceries, Mom cheerfully turned around to start washing the rice. You guys go play for a bit first. I'll get the rice cooking. Auntie, you go rest. Let's Guangling and me handle dinner. He-Fang picked up a potato and suddenly chimed in. That won't do at all. I can't possibly let you do that. I felt bad enough letting you help out last time. Mom waved her hands in refusal. Listen to Auntie and go play. But earlier, while we were buying groceries, Guangling said he wanted to try my cooking. He-Fang said with a somewhat shy expression. Don't listen to this brat, Mom glared at me, who invites someone over for dinner and then makes them cook. He has zero manners. Honestly, I really love cooking. He-Fang also secretly gave me a glare. I instantly caught her drift and hurriedly supported my mom as we walked outside. Mom, just take a break. We'll definitely whip up a delicious meal for you. What kind of a delicious meal can you make? Isn't it just going to be He Fang doing the cooking? I'll help wash the vegetables and hand over the salt. Trust me, don't worry about it. When Mom saw her son's eyes full of profound wisdom, she ultimately compromised and left the kitchen. All right, stop staring. I turned my head to see that He Fang had already tied her apron on and was currently twisting her long hair up into a bun. Classmate Chin, you're in charge of getting the fish cleaned first. I blushed and nodded, pulling out the fish that the market vendor had already gutted from the plastic bag while softly asking, how come you thought about cooking today? Once we get used to it, I can cook for you all the time. Once we get used to it, I can cook for you all the time. I was slightly stunned, suddenly feeling my heart pounding wildly. Dang it. It feels like even if she grew a fluffy tail right now and said she was going to eat me up, I wouldn't even resist anymore. 2.5 minutes later, I handed the cleaned fish over to He Fang. He Fang pointed at the bag on the side. Then go peel the potatoes. Leave the rest to me. I nodded. While picking up a potato, I noticed her hand movements. He Fang was laying half a fish flat on the cutting board, one little hand pressing down on the fish tail, while her other hand held a knife and sliced rapidly across. And thin slices of fish were instantly cut out. I felt inexplicably worried. Cutting like that, if she slipped even slightly by accident, she'd slice right into her finger. And moving that fast too? How dangerous is that? I really need to remind her. Thinking of this just as I opened my mouth, what's wrong? Are you done peeling those potatoes? He Fang didn't stop the movement of her hands, and even turned her head to glance at me. Nothing. I was starting to feel a bit antsy. Focus on what you're doing. Mind your own business. That fish over there is too big. Using half of it is plenty for cooking. He Fang stopped the fish cutting motion, turned her head, and went right back to chopping veggies. Put the other half of the fish into a plastic bag, and keep the fish head. All right. Go check the fridge and see if there's any preserved mustard greens left. Let's finish off the old ones first. I put my hands together. I'm begging you. Please just focus on cutting veggies and stop talking. Only then did He Fang turn her head back, place the fish meat into a large bowl, and start grabbing the seasonings. The corners of her mouth curved slightly upward, as if she was in a really great mood, standing off to the side peeling potatoes. I watched this scene and zoned out for a moment. Even her humming sounds so good. Wonder what song that is. Why are you standing there daydreaming? Are the potatoes peeled? Why are you standing there daydreaming? Are the potatoes peeled? Then go soak the dried wood ear mushrooms. How much should I soak? A big handful or a small one? This stuff expands like crazy when soaked, so a big handful versus a small one makes a massive difference. You better just go wash the vegetables. I'll handle it. All right, sweetie, how's it going? Are you tired? Should I still come help you out? This brat doesn't know a thing. At that moment, Mom walked back over to the kitchen doorway, watching the two of them bustling around inside the kitchen, with a face full of smiles. Really, no need, Auntie. He's doing great. He Fang grabbed a couple of pinches of wood ear mushrooms and dropped them into a basin. He's truly doing great? Right. Yep. I hurriedly chimed in. That's good then, you guys carry on. I won't disturb you. Mom turned away with a cheerful smile, thinking to herself that this was actually great. It gave them a chance to build up their relationship. He Fang added seasonings and cornstarch to the sliced fish, extended her little hand to mix it around for a bit and set it aside. Then she grabbed the potatoes Qin Guangling had peeled and began shredding them. The cutting board echoed with the rapid thump of the kitchen knife. The more I watched, the more amazed I got. Mom had mentioned offhand that her knife skills were good, but I never expected them to be this good. The knife looked like it had eyes of its own in her hands. Long, slender potato shreds were sliced to perfection in the blink of an eye. Have you practiced kung fu in the kitchen before? I couldn't help asking. Guess? He Fang turned her head and brushed back her hair with the back of her hand. Witness teacher he's awesomeness once again, huh? Are you a celestial snail maiden by any chance? I blankly looked at her profile, discovering how gorgeous she looked cutting veggies in her apron. If I am, then what? Do you still like me? He Fang grabbed a cucumber sliced off the ends, turned the blade sideways and gave it a few firm smacks. Then wouldn't you have to go back to sleep in the Luohe River tonight? Otherwise, He Fang retorted, how about you put a fish tank in your bedroom, and I'll just sleep in your room. Forget it, I'll just sleep straight in your room. How could you say that? I blushed and shook my head. A girl has to maintain her modesty. You can't keep teasing me like that. Before I could finish speaking, a slice of cucumber was suddenly shoved right into my mouth. He Fang mimicked my tone and softly asked, then do you think I'm pretty? I looked at He Fang carefully again. Wearing that apron, She looked stunning. Well, why would anyone reject a gorgeous beauty throwing herself at you? My figure isn't bad either. Wouldn't it be nice to have me warm your bed? I got startled. There's no way I could let mom hear that. When faced with a girlfriend equipped with top tier stats, a guy with plenty of relationship experience would never even think about things like body figures. Yet, hearing her say it made me take a peek anyway. This woman is definitely a siren. Looking at Hefang's serious little face, an indescribable feeling welled up in my heart, and my hands were itching like crazy. I so badly wanted to sketch this scene down. Before long, dishes emitting mouth-watering aromas were served on the dining table. Oh, just smelling it makes my mouth water. Mom looked at the dishes on the table with a grin from ear to ear. Thanks for the hard work, Hefang, hurry up and sit down to rest. Then shifting gears completely, she pointed a finger at me. Make sure Xiaolin helps serve your rice. Mom couldn't stop praising the meal the entire time we ate. The colors, aroma, and taste are all incredible, way better than what I make. Where did you learn this skill? I used to cook for myself a lot back then. Anna Xiaolin is going to be so blessed in the future. So good, so good. I hollered loudly to cut off Mom's words. Hefang is seriously amazing. Auntie, if you like it, I'll cook it again next time. Oh my, look at this child is for you. It's your birthday. Hefang cooked a whole table of dishes. And you don't even know how to say thank you. Auntie, you don't have to be so polite. Guangling treats me very well. So this is really nothing. She called me Guangling again. I felt my face burning fiercely and could only bury my face in my bowl. Hurry up and eat your food. It'll get cold in a bit. In less than 2.5 minutes, my bowl of rice was already scraped clean. Just as I was about to get up, Hefang reached her hand over. Your bowl is completely empty. Let me scoop you some more. Thank you. Watching that figure helping me scoop rice, I felt a little dazed. Throughout the days we've spent together, she constantly displayed her strengths and her affection for me in every way. Comparing the two of us, I couldn't even find a single decent strength of my own. How could someone as amazing as her have taken a fancy to me? Could it really be because of some facial reading? How could someone as amazing as her have taken a fancy to me? Could it really be because of some facial reading? The meal came to an end. I stood by the sink and was just about to flex my muscles when Hefang pushed me aside. This is my time to shine. Don't you get in the way. Hefang quietly threatened. You'll have plenty of chances to wash dishes later. I was speechless for a moment, then stealthily glanced at Mom in the living room. Turned back around and whispered, I like you. Hefang turned her head back, evidently still not processing it. I super duper mega like you, I whispered again to add on, followed immediately by dropping a massive ultimate move, planting a kiss right on her cheek. Hefang stopped her dishwashing motions, looking completely in disbelief, before blushing and tilting her head to reply, I super duper mega like you too. She stood on her tiptoes and leaned in close. A soft electric sensation, instantly spreading across my entire body. Well, classmate Chin, when did you learn how to pull this off? Hefang smirked mischievously. Where'd you pick up these bad habits? You taught me. I felt my face burning fiercely. Hefang blinked her eyes, leaned right into my ear, and whispered once we finished cleaning up. Teacher, he will give you a proper lesson. No need, I don't want that. I stepped back and shook my head in refusal, thinking to myself that the kind of lesson she was talking about definitely wasn't anything decent. Really no need. Don't regret it later. No need won't regret it. The moment my words trailed off, my dear mother suddenly popped out of nowhere. I'm heading outside for a walk. You guys have fun at home. I put on a strong front. The sky was almost dark. Where are you going? Auntie Wong asked me to accompany her to stroll around the night market. Oh, right. It's not safe for a young girl to go out alone at night. Make sure you walk Hefang back when she leaves. I know I'll definitely walk her home. The sound of the door closing echoed. Mom had already left. I turned my head to look at Hefang. Do you want to go check out the night market? There's nothing much left at home anyway, and we walked around all day, so I'm a little tired. I'd much rather go rest in your room. My girlfriend wanted me to accompany her to sleep, and even said she wanted to hand-in-hand teach me how to corrupt her. Turns out, just a moment ago, I poured a cup of warm water and walked back into my room. Hefang was lying flat on the bed, spacing out. Want some water? Hefang let out a and sat right up, stretching her head forward as she leaned in. I handed the cup over, watching her take a tiny sip before licking her lips. For some reason, my face started burning like crazy. Not thirsty anymore. Hefang flipped over and lay sideways on the bed, propping her little head up with her hand. If you don't feed me a sip, my heart won't feel balanced. I was a bit confused. Oh, what's unbalanced about it? Lie down and I'll tell you. Hefang patted the mattress in front of her with her hand. I instinctively felt cautious. A single man and a single woman sharing a single room, and now lying on the same bed. I was definitely going to get teased by her. I'm not lying down, just say it from there. I'm not gonna do anything to you. What are you so nervous about? Fang's voice sounded lazy. I hesitated for a moment and slowly lay down on the edge of the bed. Fine, I'm lying down now, you're not allowed to pull any funny stuff. Fang extended her little hand. Look at how hard I've worked. Don't you think you should treat me a bit better? How have I not treated you well? My face felt the coolness of her little hand, and I couldn't help reaching out to grab it. You even need to be on guard against me, just asking you to lie down and rest for a second. Fang pouted. I'm just scared you'll do that whole, I blushed suddenly, not knowing how to express myself. Are you really scared I'm going to corrupt you or something? Relax, I'll let you do it yourself. Are you really scared I'm going to corrupt you or something? Relax, I'll let you do it yourself. Do it myself. I quietly scooted a bit further to the side, feeling like my purity was about to vanish. Do you want teacher to hand in hand teach you? Fang said as she leaned in close, even gently scratching the back of my hand with her index finger. No way! I scrambled up in a panic with a horrified expression. Then tell me, how are you going to treat me well? With my food and clothing taken care of. I honestly didn't know what specific action to take. Can't think of anything, right? Fang wore and I knew you couldn't say anything expression. And you said you didn't want my teaching. I only know that I need to make you happy. I held. Fang's little hand hesitated for a second, picked it up and gently kissed the back of her hand. Whatever you want, I'll do my best to give it to you. Fang was momentarily stunned, then opened up her arms with a melting expression. Then kissed me. I slowly propped my upper body up. The atmosphere right now was different from when we were on the pedal boat. I felt like everything was completely natural, lacking the nervousness from back then, and filled only with a heart-fluttering sensation. It lacked the electric numbing jolt of our very first kiss, feeling simply fragrant and soft instead. After lingering for 2 seconds, I pulled back, opened my eyes, and looked at the little angel in front of me. A stunning person like a rainbow, only met once upon encountering. Fang slowly opened her eyes, blinking as she looked right at me. Done. She let out an ah sound, looking kind of dazed. Not enough. Fang was stunned too. Turns out this isn't something guys naturally know how to do. Turns out this isn't something guys naturally know how to do. Wait, you lied to me. What did I lie to you about? Fang thought for a moment, then let out a sigh and flopped back down. True. You wouldn't lie to me. You just haven't been enlightened yet. Too small. I felt a bit dissatisfied. You're clearly 2 years younger than me. How can you call me small? Fang was momentarily stunned, then burst out laughing. Why are you so cute? Oh no. I've been laughing this whole day. My mouth hurts. Then stop laughing. What's so funny anyway? Because you're my boyfriend, and I get happy just seeing you. Hearing Fang's words, I felt my heart skip a beat. Then I thought about it and figured it was true. I also got really happy whenever I saw Fang. Then hold it in and don't laugh. I can't help it. Fang rolled around on the bed twice. Wait, stop being so goofy and making me laugh all the time. Teacher, he will give you a proper makeup lesson another day. Fang clutched her stomach and looked at me. Now please accompany teacher to sleep, classmate. Sleeping together and all that? Isn't this a bit inappropriate? I scratched the back of my head, still feeling quite shy, thinking to myself that since she was lying flat on her back, if I wanted to hug her, I'd have to press right down on top of her. Hurry up and lie down to keep me company. Fang reached out again and tugged at my sleeve. Then you're not allowed to do any weird stuff. I hesitated as I lay down, and Fang immediately scrambled over, wiggling her soft body. To find a comfortable spot, she buried her head right into my chest. I'll just rest like this for a bit. If I fall asleep, remember to wake me up a little past 8. Okay, I replied obediently, then slowly lowered my hand that was hanging in mid-air, and hesitantly placed it on Fang's back. I looked down at her, and my heart gradually grew peaceful. A faint, subtle fragrance lingered at the tip of my nose. Not sure if it was the scent of shampoo or body wash, but it smelled exceptionally nice. Holding her soft, delicate little body in my arms felt incredible, giving me a sudden urge to hold her even tighter. So this is what they call holding fragrant warmth in your arms, huh? I thought to myself quietly. Suddenly, Fang in my arms lifted her lower leg and nudged it upward. I got startled. No way. I better think about something else. Fang is a literature major. People who engage in creative work like this have inner emotions that are actually very delicate, complex, and deeply affectionate, and painting also falls under creation. People like us actually dislike overly bustling environments, dislike dealing with all sorts of interpersonal socializing, and only prefer sitting quietly alone to think or create. You could say we're extremely solitary. Perhaps because of this, The two of us bumping into each other is what triggered such a magical sensual and tacit chemical reaction, right? As I thought about it, I felt like I had figured out the truth. This explanation made total sense. Otherwise, it wouldn't explain why the two of us developed so fast. During dinner tonight, we even almost had the illusion that she and I were actually a real family. Judging by our current progress, I really need to plan out future matters properly. Finding a stable job as soon as possible is also extremely necessary, as I had future plans running through my head. I don't know how much time passed before my phone suddenly chimed with a ding interrupting my train of thought. As I had future plans running through my head. I don't know how much time passed before my phone suddenly chimed with a ding interrupting my train of thought. I fished out my phone and took a look. The message was sent by my college roommate Sun Wen. Old Lin, are you looking for a job right now? If you want to find a steady job, I can introduce one to you. What a coincidence the studio I'm currently working at is hiring. I just happened to see your mood post. Want to give it a try? What kind of studio? We make Manhwa. It's not a huge studio, but everything they put out is top tier quality. I think the career growth looks great. You can think about it. I don't really know much about Manhwa. Is it stuff like inking and paneling? I do coloring and post-processing. Your skill level is totally fine for doing rough drafts. I'll snap some pics and show you when I'm at work tomorrow. Alright, first off, where is your studio? Why don't I head over to check it out tomorrow? We could grab a meal together while we're at it. Hold on, I'll text it to you. After hashing it out in just a few words, I put down my phone and pulled Feng back into my arms, pondering my schedule for tomorrow. What time is it now? Numpo woke up at some point, blinking her eyes as she asked only 7:30. You can sleep a bit longer. So nice. Feng wrapped her little arms tighter around my waist. Can cuddle for a bit longer? Yeah, so nice. I stroked her back and agreed wholeheartedly. Is holding me comfortable? Feng still kept her eyes closed, her cat-like paws resting motionless against my chest. Comfortable, I love it. I pulled her slightly tighter into my embrace. I love being held by you too. You stop moving. This wasn't something I could control just by wanting to distract myself. I closed my eyes, only for my mind to flash with images of Feng's lips, and her fingers stained with saliva. My face grew hotter and hotter, and I couldn't help swallowing hard. You're being naughty. Hanfang suddenly spoke up. How am I being naughty? I felt a bit guilty. If you weren't thinking about random messy things, why is that still happening? Hanfang shifted her gaze downward, glancing sideways at the thing making her uncomfortable, and then leaned forward and bit down directly. If you're naughty, I won't introduce you anymore. Feng stood up and walked toward the door. I'm going to check how the pickled radishes are doing in the kitchen. I raised my arm and looked at the bite mark on it, thinking to myself how utterly embarrassing this was. Hanfang hadn't even graduated yet. How could I be such a beast? Let's find something to do to distract myself. I should look up what a manhwa studio actually does. I lay flat on the bed and browsed my phone. 2.5 minutes later, Feng was back before I even knew it, standing silently behind me and watching. I turned my head and jumped in surprise. Why are you back again? And why are you staring at me like that? Feng didn't speak, still looking at me with that same smirking smile. Stop smiling already. What I experienced was completely normal. I was getting a little flustered and exasperated. I didn't even say anything. Feng smiled and leaned in closer. Anyway, the one suffering isn't me. You're still going on about it. I indignantly turned away, deciding to give her the cold shoulder. Hanfang suddenly reached out a little hand, then slowly leaned down over me. You find I won't tease you? Do you graduate at the end of June? I awkwardly changed the subject. Didn't you say you wanted to be a teacher? Summer break starts in July. Isn't it hard to find a job during that period? Then I just won't look for one yet. I'll rest for 2 months first. Feng seemed to have zero pressure about it. I nodded, then realized a very serious problem. Are you going back home for those 2 months? Hecheng wasn't far from Locheng, but after all, they were 2 different cities. Meeting up and stuff would become way too inconvenient. Do you want me to go back? Of course not. I lowered my voice, suddenly feeling like I was being a bit selfish. Going home for summer break was completely normal. And what could she even do staying here with me? Once she graduated, she wouldn't be able to stay in the dorms anymore. If she stayed, she'd have to worry about finding a place to live and all that. I could only hope she'd successfully land a job in Luocheng. I don't have to go back, you know, Hanfang suddenly said. Feng gently crawled up a bit and leaned in close. A classmate Chin, you can rephrase what you just said. I might actually choose not to go home, you know. I was stunned. Rephrase what I said? What did she want to hear me say? Because I want to see you often, I tentatively said, Because I'd miss you, I felt a bit embarrassed. But my intuition told me this must be it. I'd miss you too much to let you go. As I spoke, I lowered my head, took Hefang's little hand, and gave it a squeeze. Hefang leaned forward and suddenly planted a kiss right on my cheek. Then cupped my face. I'd miss you too. Super duper mega miss you. I felt a surge of excitement. Then, Hefang didn't give me a chance to continue, pouncing straight into my arms. I still have to go back once, but I won't stay at home for too long. I grew a bit worried. Then what if you can't find a job? You won't be able to stay in the dorms anymore. Then can I sleep at your place? Stop joking around. I'm thinking about this seriously. I grabbed Hefang's arm with an earnest expression, though I suddenly remembered that Hefang was someone with a strong sense of planning. So I asked again, do you already have a plan? Of course I'm teacher. After all, everything is under control. Hefang's words confirmed my guess. So classmate Chin, you can rest easy. Do you already have a plan? Of course I'm teacher. After all, everything is under control. So classmate Chin, you can rest easy. 2.5 minutes later, I glanced at my watch. It's already 8:30, I should walk you back. It's not good if it gets too late. Let's stay for 5 more minutes. Hefang replied lazily. 5 minutes later turned into another 5 minutes. After heading out, I handed her a jacket. It's chilly at night. You should drape this over yourself on the way. Huge improvement. Worthy of praise. Hefang draped the jacket over her shoulders, then turned around, grabbed my hand, and walked toward the bus stop. The moonlight was bright. With barely any pedestrians on the street, our shadows were stretched long behind us. And as we drew closer to the streetlights, they gradually converged. And projected in front of us, our intertwined hands swayed gently, with the rhythm of our footsteps. Although I wasn't yet used to being this affectionate outside, dating really is great. I stole a glance at Hefang. Since you're so good at fortune telling, guess what I'm planning to do tomorrow? Hefang kept a poker face. To call me Teacher He and I'll tell your fortune. No way, keep dreaming. Then I won't tell. I'll find a way to make you call me that anyway. You're bluffing me. I don't believe it. Let me think. Hefang suddenly turned her head. How about this? Starting from now, you aren't allowed to call me Hefang. Then what should I call you? I was slightly taken aback, thinking carefully about it. Usually I just called her by her name, or yelled Hefang. Figure out what to call me yourself. Anyway, you can't use my name. Hefang sat down in her seat and proudly raised her chin. Once you think of it, you have to tell me, and it only counts if I approve it. Would I really have to copy others and call her things like babe, baby, or darling? That's absolute nonsense. That's even worse than calling her teacher, he. Would I really have to copy others and call her things like babe, baby, or darling? That's absolute nonsense. That's even worse than calling her teacher, he. No, I can't let her win this. I decided not to address her by any name for now. If I had anything to say, I'd just say it directly. Why did I have to use a name anyway? I fiddled with the soft hand in mine. Damn it! I keep feeling like her hand is so tiny and soft. It feels amazing to touch. Is this the same thing as having a foot fetish? I rubbed and stroked it for a bit, thinking this fair, tender little hand looked cuter the more I saw it. Suddenly, I got the urge to give it a little kiss. That shouldn't be too weird, right? I'm crazy about Hefang, and her hands are a part of her too. So liking them is totally normal. Not to mention she's my girlfriend. But right as I stealthily kissed the back of her hand, I raised my head and locked eyes with Hefang's gaze. Blushing fiercely, I jerked my head away, pretending to nonchalantly look out the other window. The closet pervert, Hefang found it a bit amusing. I'll have you properly trained sooner or later. Trained in what? I couldn't help asking. Hefang flashed a full smile, nothing much. Classmate, Chin, you sure talk smoothly, muttering things so nobody can hear clearly and refusing to repeat yourself. You're so bad. Soon the bus reached the stop. I held Hefang's little hand and slowly walked toward the campus. There were quite a lot of people out here at night. Unlike near my house where you couldn't even spot a few pedestrians. Do you want to buy some snacks to take back? I asked, glancing at the nearby supermarket. We ate dinner way too early. You might get hungry at night. Nope, eating at night makes you gain weight. Hefang shook her head seriously. I sized her up. You aren't even fat. That's exactly why I have to maintain it. Otherwise, wearing skirts won't look good anymore. Hafong grabbed the hem of her little skirt, seemingly quite satisfied with her own figure. Once I become a teacher, I won't be able to wear these often. So I've got to wear them a few more days right now. Fair enough, I nodded with a blushing face, even though I thought she looked amazing no matter what she wore. As we chatted, we had already strolled downstairs to the dorm building. Hefong took off her jacket and draped it over her arm. Time to go up. I handed her little backpack over, while my other hand reached to take back the jacket. only to find Hifang holding onto it tightly without letting go. What is it? A classmate Chin, did you forget something? What is it? A classmate Chin, did you forget something? What? I looked completely baffled. Forgot what? Yanibao suddenly leaned in close, pointing at her little lips to remind the emperor. I was slightly taken aback, and immediately remembered the promise I made her. Every time we meet for the first time each day and whenever we part ways, we had to kiss. I nervously looked left and right, and making sure there were hardly anyone around. I seized the right timing, leaned in and planted a lightning-fast kiss on Hifang's lips, then springboarded backward by a step. Nutpaw handed the jacket over, and only then started saying goodbye with a deeply satisfied expression. Be careful on your way back. I'm heading up now. Watching her turn and walk upstairs, I stood frozen in place like a dummy, absent-mindedly pulling the jacket in my hand over my head. The night breeze really is a bit chilly, huh? After getting back home and greeting Mom, I hit the bed and finally felt a wave of exhaustion setting in. Replaying today's events in my mind, for some reason, I started missing that soft, cuddly little body. It would be so nice to fall asleep holding her every day. I slept straight through until morning. When I opened my eyes again, it was already 9:00 a.m. I grabbed my phone to check. Just like usual, Heepong had sent me a good morning text a little past 8. At the same time, Sunwen had also sent over his company address. After getting up, washing up, heading out, and arriving at the agreed location, it was only 10:30 a.m. There was still half an hour left before the scheduled time. With nothing better to do, I started reading the company profile Sunwen sent. This Manhwa studio had been established for less than 2 years, and although it only had around 10 employees, the boss was exceptionally skilled in the industry, having secured several well-known novel IPs to adapt into manhwa. The growth prospects were pretty incredible. Before long, a man with an unusually brawny appearance appeared in my field of vision. Before long, a man with an unusually brawny appearance appeared in my field of vision. Hey, long time no see. This person was none other than my college roommate Sun Wen. Even though his name had Wen literary gentle in it, he was a total absolute brawny giant. No matter who looked at him, they could never connect him with such delicate work, like drawing. You're not as solidly built as before? Lack of exercise, huh? Ever since graduation, I haven't worked out anymore. Sunwin threw an arm around my shoulder and asked with a smile, should we eat first or check out the studio first? We haven't seen each other in a while. Of course we're eating first. I looked around left and right. I'm not familiar with this place either. You pick a spot? There's a place around here I've been to. The food is pretty good. Sunwin dragged me along as we walked forward. Well, how come you suddenly wanted to look for a job, kid? To make a bit more income. Otherwise, it's way too unstable. You still aren't satisfied with that? Why don't we trade places? How great would that be? I wouldn't mind the instability. Sunwin sighed with some emotion. You were recognized as the best at digital painting in our dorm back then. You could easily make a living, just relying on commission work without a regular job. Free and easy. I found it a bit amusing. You can try taking commissions at home too. It's not like I haven't tried. They didn't want my kind of stuff. Staying at home would just starve me to death. Sunwin pouted and led me into a restaurant to take a seat. Too bad I still have to work later. Otherwise, I'd grab a couple of drinks with you. I quickly waved my hands. Forget it. It's not like you don't know my alcohol tolerance. I've still got things to do this afternoon. Ha ha ha. I only wanted to drink with you precisely because I know. Anyway, since you're coming to work here, you'll have plenty of chances in the future. As if I'm just here to take a look. Whether I'll take the job is still up in the air. Sunwen lifted the kettle to pour tea, looking completely confident. Once you take a look in a bit, you'll know. It's an absolute match. Is it proper for me to just go straight up and look? I hesitated as I asked. I originally wanted to check out the actual work duties. Before making a decision, either the workload is too light and the pay sucks, or it requires real skill and helps me grow. Otherwise, taking this job wouldn't be worth it. Might as well just stay at home instead. Go for an interview. Ask whatever you want during the interview. This is a mutual evaluation process anyway, but I dare say if you want to join, you're guaranteed to get in. The key is just whether you want to or not, Sunwin said full of confidence, then sneaked closer with a sleazy expression. We got a few pretty girls at the studio who are still single, you know. Well, look at that shady look of yours. I found it a bit amusing. I'm not interested. If you like them, go chase them yourself. Besides, I already have a girlfriend. Gotta find a way to help you out. Sunwin put on the look of a considerate good bro. What a coincidence. I have one too. Sunwen froze mid-action while drinking his tea. Real or fake, I don't believe it. Hearing that his college roommate landed a girlfriend, the guy looked utterly shocked. Real or fake? Got any photos of the girlfriend? Let me see. Nope. I shook my head calmly, refusing to show him. So that means you don't have one. Sunwin scoffed dismissively. With how you stay cooped up at home drawing every day, as if you could ever get a girlfriend. Whatever, you don't need to play matchmaker. I really do have one. I was powerless to refute him. This guy loved playing matchmaker back in school. Every time he hooked up with a new girlfriend, he had to introduce her bestie to the rest of us. I honestly had no idea where he got all that enthusiasm from. Believe it or not, Sunwin chugged down the rest of his tea, then suddenly remembered something else. Yufei, that kid seems like he's about to get married soon. I figure 3 to 500 is totally fine. Anyway, we'll get it all back when we get married later anyway. It's just going through the motions. Sunwin nodded. If you ask me, 200 is plenty. There are still so many people who aren't married yet. Giving that to everyone adds up to a huge number. Whoever gets married last is just the unlucky one, right? I paused for a moment, suddenly finding it a bit funny. When they have kids, there's gonna be another round of cash gifts. Got it. I'll discuss it with my future wife. We'll get married once a year. The big guy's Sunwin started grinning again. At that moment, the phone on the table suddenly chimed. The message was sent by Hifeng. Did you eat yet? Eating you right now. Just finished eating, missing you. I've got some stuff outside. I'll come find you later. Some other day. I gotta write my thesis today. Fine, I miss you too. I gotta eat up. Haha, looking at that goofy grin of yours, I can just tell it's a message from your girlfriend. Definitely you who has that perverted grin. What an upright guy I am. Looking at that goofy grin of yours, I can just tell it's a message from your girlfriend. Definitely you who has that perverted grin. What an upright guy I am. I raised my head with a serious expression, only to find the other guy looking right back at me. Suddenly, both of us burst out laughing, feeling just like we did back in our college days. After finishing our meal and sitting for a bit longer, Sunwin got up and led the way toward the company. It's still lunch break right now. I'll take you up to the company to check it out and rest a bit. Once work hours start in a bit, we'll do the interview straight away. Sounds good. The studio was different from what I imagined. Usually small studios like this just rent a standard 3-bedroom apartment, add some decorations, and set up the necessary equipment. Instead, what was in front of me was a large office area where people were casually chatting, resting with their heads on their desks, or writing something with a pen. At a glance, it had a pretty cool vibe. Unlike ordinary companies where everything is so rigidly neat and oppressively serious, the colleagues are all young folks. The oldest is only 25. The atmosphere is really nice, Sunwin introduced enthusiastically. Right now, our studio mainly draws short videos in cooperation with platforms, and the other thing is preparing long-form stories, following the new media route. In a moment, the boss should, before he could finish his sentence, a young man dressed in fairly formal attire pushed open the door and walked in. Sunwin hurriedly pulled me up. Guangling, let me introduce you. This is our company boss, Chen Rui. The boss named Chen Rui wore a full smile, seemingly having anticipated this. Qin Guanglin, right? I've heard so much about you. Hello, boss Chen. Pleased to meet you. Then let's head to the conference room inside to chat. We'll do the test right in there as well. I nodded. No problem. An hour later, Sunwin back at his workstation was getting a bit anxious. They've been in there for an hour. How come there's no sound? That guy wouldn't blow it just from being too nervous, right? Just as he was thinking that, there was movement by the conference room door next to him. Sunwin quickly hurried over. You're finally out. How did it go? I nodded. They said if it works out, I can come to work in the next few days. Mainly responsible for rough drafts. I told them I'd think about it and give them an answer in a couple of days. Not bad. You should seriously think about it. Thanks for today. I glanced at the time, deciding not to disturb Sunwin any further. Get back to work. I'm heading back first. I'll treat you to a meal when I have time. Taking the elevator down and walking toward the bus stop, I thought about having Hifang cast a divination tomorrow on whether this job was legit or not. Though personally, I thought it was pretty decent. Passing by a small shop, I suddenly noticed inside some small trinkets. I walked in and browsed around casually, picking out a raccoon-style hair clip. For some reason, I just felt like Hifang would love it. It seems everyone is like this when they first fall in love. Seeing something delicious makes you want the other person to taste it too. Reading a good book makes you want to recommend it to them. Encountering something fun makes you want to experience it together. And seeing a pretty outfit makes you wonder if it would suit them. This is what falling in love is all about. Thank you for always being by my side.